The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
I had an intro set up about what we were going to talk about this week and how awesome our guest was, but I just realized that one of my favorite foods of all time, which are Hostess orange cupcakes, are the same color hue of our evil overlord president. So now my heart is broken. Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 286 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture, navigated by the Deadites. The Deadites are the world's greatest electroshock band. We destroy monsters, we drink booze, we win championship belts, and, which has become an annual tradition, Marsman and our guest are teaming up to do the top 13 comic books of 2017. Isn't that right, Marsman?
That's me. I'm Mazman.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, why don't you introduce our guest then?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of, I figure you have to be at least 13 to still be awake right now, so I'm going to say all ages. Children with good parents.
Yes.
Our guest is not only an expert on all things sleazy and trashy in cinema, she is also, for my money, I don't know what this proper descriptive noun is here.
Awesome?
She is awesome, but one of the best interviewers. Is that correct?
That's safe to say.
Yeah, in the podcast sphere, by a long shot.
Yeah.
I am honored to have started this tradition with this person, and I am extra honored that she gives us the time of day. Ladies and gentlemen, from Double Page Spread, Wendy Freeman.
Hey, friends!
Hey, Wendy. It's awesome to have you back again.
I'm so happy to be here.
This is, I think it's become an annual tradition now, if I'm not mistaken. I think is this 3 years in a row, or do we miss a year? I don't remember.
This is the third. This is 3 years in a row.
Awesome.
Let me tell you, she's a lot more thrilled than we're all kind of adjusted to, you know?
No, we're used to you asshole.
Shut up, you freak.
We're happy that she's here.
Yeah.
We're not happy you're here.
Never.
No. I'm not happy I'm here either.
Well, I feel,
We can all get rid of me. Yeah, I'll be happy.
I know someone at home will probably be even happier.
Oh, yeah.
To have you around all the time.
I know someone to your right that will probably be even happier.
So, yes, we are joined by Wendy Freeman from Double Page Spread. So, Wendy, give us an update, because it's been a year. You have a lot going on. You play drums. You're in a band. You have awesome podcasting stuff. So just give us a real kind of brief overview of what's been going on since we last spoke with you.
Oh, gosh. The podcast keeps trucking along. I had my 200th episode. That
Congratulations.
was a big deal.
Awesome.
Very good.
It's good work, and I just keep talking to people and getting things done.
Awesome. That's all you can hope for.
Right, and you know how it is, just booking dates and playing gigs and living hard.
Yeah.
Loving fast.
Awesome. Is things still going strong with the band?
Yeah. I've been writing a bunch of new songs, and we did our Halloween show. We always do a big Halloween show covering another album or something. And
What did you do this year?
This year we teamed up. So I'm a big Husker Du fan. Y'all know that.
Sure.
So because Grant Hart passed away, there was somebody else who wanted to do a bunch of Grant Hart songs, and then we wanted to do Bob Mould's Sugar. We wanted to do the Copper Blue album, and then we both teamed up and did a Husker Du set. So it was like a full night of celebrating those guys.
That's awesome. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. And let folks know the name of the band and where they can find it if they want to search it out.
We are called Demon Familiar, Daemon, the Old English spelling, Demon Familiar, and that we can be found on Spotify and wherever fine music is downloaded, I suppose.
You could call up your favorite pirate friends, and no, we don't. We certainly don't.
No.
We don't
Raise the
recommend that. Yeah, don't raise the flag for Wendy's.
You know, I was looking at. I found. I was finally putting away my clothes from the Halloween show the other day, so you can guess that suitcase smelled outstanding. And
oh my God.
yeah, I had shoes and underwear and everything. And it was bad times.
Were they what you wore to the gig?
You know, what I wore on stage.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
that's terrible.
I realized we probably did more covers at this last show than we've ever done.
Yeah.
And if we did all those songs, I have zero recollection, but.
So, like, what do you guys like covering? What do you do?
We did this time. We did a song by The National, "Murder Me, Rachel."
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's some kind of interstitial stuff too,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we've been introducing ourselves with like a stripped down Total Eclipse of the Heart.
yeah.
So we've been doing band intros while that's been going. I know we did. I can't remember now, but I was like, wow, this seems like a lot of covers. Did we do No One Lives Forever this year?
I was trying to remember that.
Did we? I don't think we
I don't
did,
think
but
you
we
did.
normally do Oingo Boingo's No One
Oh,
Lives
we did.
Forever.
We did.
Yeah.
We did the Phil Collins song. That was the
that's
other one we
right.
did. We did.
Rain on Me. Is that
Yeah,
the
Wish It
name?
Would Rain Down or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
No studio.
no,
We should be doing that.
yeah.
I always hate it whenever people poop on Phil Collins. You know, like whenever you bring up your drummer, like a lot of people are like, "So, do you think Phil Collins is really any good?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the answer is yes. Yes,
Of course
Phil
he
Collins
is.
excellent.
There is an era of him I am in love with because I am a big when he was doing a lot of like soundtrack stuff and when No Jacket Required came out because I'm a big Paul Williams fan and I feel like he had hit a layer of depression that was like Paul Williams level of depressed.
but that like the homeless song was Another Day in Paradise. Like he had some pretty sad songs.
I mean, he definitely had probably one of the highest rated singles about watching someone drown ever.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Well, it's a big genre.
yeah.
It's very popular.
What about isn't the Toadies Possum Kingdom? Isn't that also about watching someone drown?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah.
For some reason, I want to say that is about. I feel like there are a few songs about watching people drown.
Well, wasn't that song about taking a girl out and killing her behind the shed, behind the boathouse?
Yeah, that was with Billy Ocean.
Was that a Deadite
Boathouse.
song?
Yeah.
We have a song that's a metaphor that I use drowning as a metaphor, but it's about bad relationships and fucking. Which is pretty
See, I
much
like
what
the
they're all
literal
about.
drowning song.
Yeah, I can't think anymore. I feel like there's gotta be. I know.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
I know there's like a Toad the Wet Sprocket song that is uncharacteristically sounds like it's about sexual assault, but maybe they're just drowning somebody instead. And I misunderstood.
Yeah, I mean, Sting had a message in a bottle, but maybe if he.
It's kind of the same thing.
Wow, this is a good start.
Depressing start.
Yeah.
Monster Zero, can we take a boat ride after the show?
No, I don't think so.
I have to write a new song.
I've heard about your boat rides. I'm afraid no matter if I die or live, I'm terrified.
We're just gonna take you out behind the boathouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
It's like an episode of Dexter.
Yeah. Oh man. What different strokes?
That's a very on a special episode of Different Strokes.
Suddenly, come by the boathouse with me. This sucks.
Monster Zero and Dudley,
Arnold.
come watch King of Atlantis.
I'll be Aquaman, and you be frightened. Oh,
Yeah.
sucks.
You know what though? That guy must have had a really good lawyer because from there he went on to run a radio station. So
Yes.
in the 2000s you go to jail for that. You don't get a promotion
Yeah.
because what you did to Dudley. Here is Johnny Fever.
Booger.
Wasn't just yesterday the guy who was like the showrunner of WKRP or something passed away.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
That hurt you, Ramsey.
oh my God.
Do you know his
dude.
name?
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
His name?
I forget his name. Hugh. Damn it.
Hefner.
Yeah, you don't know Wendy. This guy knows the most obscure fucking names. Like, tell Wendy Large Marge's name.
Yeah, he literally. I mentioned Large Marge from Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and he's like, "Oh, I love that actress." And
Hugh
named her.
Wilson. Hugh Wilson. He's the one because he directed
Hugh Wilson,
Police
okay.
Academy.
Oh yeah.
And that kills me, and I love Police Academy.
Yeah. Did he just do the first one, or did he?
He
some of
just did the
sequels?
first film, and he has
Okay.
a small cameo in it as well.
All right.
He's the one who's in the car at night when Mahoney is
dude,
teaching.
I haven't
when
seen it in
Mahoney is
years.
teaching Hightower how to drive, and he rear ends some guy.
Yeah, okay,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
guy.
All right,
That's
yeah.
Hugh Wilson.
All right.
I watched it just not too long ago. That movie is
It's a masterpiece.
It holds up. It is a masterpiece.
it's not.
It is.
It hurts my feelings.
Police Academy hurts your feelings.
Police Academy's got a lot of hate, seemingly.
Well, now when you look back on it, I'm sure
Sure.
it feels differently.
Oh yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, it's never nice to put glue in someone's shampoo.
browser. Rated Shower, you gonna open up your browser?
I am. Yeah.
Yowza.
Just so I can feel good about myself and my importance to my tag team partner.
Yes.
Raven Shadow TV update. Still exactly how I left it.
Yes.
Perfect.
But it's a work in progress, though.
Okay,
We're trying.
So Raven Shadow, did you use the sexy speakeasy at all this past week?
There's some developments in the sexy speakeasy.
So what? The Seki?
The sexy.
You call it the Seki?
The sexy
The
speakeasy.
sucky
Is it now the
Speakeasy?
sucky speed?
Well,
The sexy suck easy.
Wendy, no one likes
You
the
got a
name of
bad
my special
review.
room.
So Wendy, Raven Shadow named his. Is it your second bedroom? Is that what it is?
Well, yeah.
His second
Hey.
bedroom, he named the sexy speakeasy.
Knock it off in there.
There's no reason to name it that.
Listen, I
there's
paid-
nothing sexy going on in there.
You don't know.
Is there anything easy going on in there?
Yeah. Easy like Sunday morning.
Is it like prohibition in the rest of your house?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's been a bad room, but no, it's the walls are nice, like a nice little magenta red, and they got some purple trim going on, and the back of the door is purple.
Jesus, what the hell? Does Richard Simmons live there too?
What do those colors have to do with the speakeasy?
But no,
Do you have like a velvet painting of Elvis on the wall too?
I'm getting there. No, I'm gonna have. It's my film room. I'm gonna have like movie posters and stuff. It's gonna be.
Why
nice.
would you have?
I have a futon.
Why would you have the film room in your second bedroom? Why not like your main living room?
Well, I diversify.
Because I think because the swing that hangs from the ceiling gets in the way.
Well, no.
The St. Andrew's cross, he has to move it to the back.
To be fair, it's not anything sexy or dirty. Like Raven Shadow just loves tire swings.
No, he just loves alliteration.
Yes.
That's why he calls it the sexy speakeasy.
Well, no, I have different vibes for different rooms. I have the downstairs basement. That's where I have my Netflix hooked up with the Wii, and DVD player. Upstairs, I got a regular DVD player, my DVR. And then in the other bedroom, I have the Blu-ray and the TV and the futon.
Wait, so it's different formats for different rooms?
Oh, yeah.
So why don't you call it the Blu-ray room?
Yeah, what do you call the blue? Like something blue related.
Well, I named it before I got the Blu-ray player.
And then you got the VHS bathroom.
Yeah, it's sexy. You been there?
You can retroactively rename it
Yeah,
because I think we all said that your name sucks.
nobody likes it.
Yeah.
Nobody likes it.
I mean, it's not set in stone yet.
No, that's true. I didn't
You
get
didn't paint it on the walls yet, did you?
There's a stencil
painted.
outline.
Yeah.
Well, if you use a black light, you'll see some painting on the wall.
black lights in my house. Yeah.
I feel like knowing her as well as I do, I feel like your special lady friend fucking hates that name.
I think I asked her, and I asked her if she liked the colors, and she said yes, but I don't believe she does.
Does she know that it's called the sexy speakeasy?
Well, I told her that was my vibe when I was crafting the room. I said I want like a sexy speakeasy vibe, so I might get like a record player.
Somebody's gonna have to
to do
spill.
with the speakeasy?
Somebody's gonna have to spill the news on.
What do you think? Hold on.
Uh,
What do you think transpired in speakeasy?
Well, I wasn't there, but I figured that the bop to bop they had like the
Bop.
yeah, like the guys
What
like
are you talking about?
Scatman Crothers.
Scatman Crothers.
Yeah. What? Like the new speakeasy.
Like The Shining was going on in...
Yeah, like some the Stray Cats were there.
The
Stray
Michael
Cats.
Raven Shadow. Why don't you stop?
What are you talking about?
Al Capone, you got the shine.
Yeah, I'm not saying
Al
like,
Cool, you got.
it's not a literal speakeasy, but I kind of like want like a kind of sexy dirty room. Let's watch a sexy dirty movie. You know, like
God.
that's my vibe right there.
All right. Well,
I feel terrible that I helped set this up.
You're a co-conspirator.
You should. You're partly responsible for this.
You gonna help me?
What would the password be to get into the sexy
Yeah.
speakeasy?
yeah. You need to have a password for a speakeasy.
Well, I can't tell you on the air, but I mean,
You get too many people having access.
yeah, everyone's coming in. You know, and the dog gets
Well,
nervous.
maybe we'll play Pictionary later and we'll figure it out for ourselves.
Yeah, maybe one of the listeners can figure out a sexy password.
I know I got in because I carried the Blu-ray player and put the TV together. So I think I got a lifelong pass for
You
better
can
or
come in.
worse. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use it.
Oh man, you need to name it something like in honor of Wendy being on, like the trashy something or
That's
other.
nice.
You know.
The trashy spread.
Yeah, we're talking.
I like that.
I think you should only serve like gin cocktails, like gin fizz and stuff. You know, make like classy cocktails.
Yeah, we'll do all the fizzes. Yeah,
All
Yes.
the fizzes.
Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer,
Al Cool Seltzer.
pop, fizz, whatever relief it is up in this motherfucker.
Is Oily in the chat? I just want to know if he's shaking his head disapprovedly. Of this.
Not that I see yet.
Okay, good.
We're working on it.
Oh yeah, it's you better continue working on it.
No,
Come back
no.
with a better name next week.
No one
Sexy
likes it.
Speakeasy is like who? I mean, you didn't tell it. Your mom, you called it the Sexy Speakeasy.
No, I didn't do that. No.
I know Oliver, your dog, hates it.
Yeah.
Well, I think he honors my feelings and just smiles. He likes it.
But you know, dogs.
You got to
can't look
change
up.
that name, man.
All right. Well, let's move on
No.
because
Call it the Winchester. And get
Why?
and get a Winchester and put it up above the
Over the door?
very
sexy
uncomfortable-
Winchester doesn't work.
Ooh.
You don't
How
have to
about
call
like Theater of Pain? Right, like the Motley Crue. They got a
Just
Motley Crue
depends on what's
autograph.
going on in there.
Yeah, but that'd all be pink lace. It'd be really awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I do know you're a dreamer, Raven Shadow.
Back
true.
Back to the drawing board.
All right, we'll try it.
No, the Winchester.
Winchester's good. Winchester's good.
You
Or
get-
the Windjammer.
No, you should do like the Winchester Mystery House and just continue to rebuild it all the time.
Listen, it took me,
Yeah.
it took me fucking
Just have doors that lead to
Yeah,
nowhere.
to nowhere.
it took me 3 months to paint the motherfucker.
It's bad enough.
I haven't built the shelves yet. I put ceiling fans in, though. What do you think of that?
It was nice. Yeah, that's true.
Oh my god, that thing is gonna fall and kill someone.
It's gonna just fucking blast
You
off
put
like
it.
the
Wait,
helicarrier.
you put it up?
Well, my dad helped.
Oh, okay.
good, good.
I trust a little bit more.
What'd you
then.
do? Open the box?
I opened the door.
Yeah, he used his knife to open the box.
His Stimident.
It's not easy, Wendy.
I will tell you this about Raven Shadow's house. The last 2 times I was there, like it's got like a circle from the kitchen into the living room, around into a hallway, and it goes to the bathroom. And the first time I went around, I swear to God, the bathroom wasn't there. I had to take a different lap before the bathroom appeared. I'm not sure what happened.
See, this is the Winchester. Things move now.
Evil Corny says, Raven Shadow, if you're single and live alone, your whole house is a man cave. At least mine is. # big ass screen.
It's true, yes.
Corny's been at work for like 4 days.
Yeah, did you get out, Corny? Is it still
they-
snowing there in Alabama?
They got an inch of snow in Alabama. Shit shut down.
An inch of snow, Jesus Christ.
Doesn't take much.
All right, so let's talk about what we're going to do tonight. And we are going to be discussing the film Happy Death Day. And this film here is from Blumhouse, the mammoth Blumhouse.
Oh, they put out movies?
Yes. And also the director is Christopher Landon. And so we're going to talk about that flick. And then afterwards, Wendy and Dynamo are going to run down their top 13 comic books of 2017.
Aries was pissed about it last week, Wendy.
Why?
Oh, why?
Because he didn't have a list. He was all bent out of shape. The funny part was Aries honestly said, and I didn't think about it till I went home and like laid down. Aries God of War honestly said, "So we just have to sit here and be quiet."
That's kind of his gimmick.
Comics.
Yeah.
He hasn't said a word yet.
Right.
Aries, say
He's just
something.
staring.
He's
No.
looking at.
No, you can't make him say anything.
He's
No, that's
staring at
true.
a sexy speakeasy right there.
We got a couple of longtime listeners who haven't been here in a while. We got our boy Rocky is hanging out.
All right,
Hey, Rocky.
He finally Wednesday without a gig for Rocky, so Rocky's hanging out. And then we also have Creepy Girls hanging out.
Hey, baby.
And we also have Donnie Davis. What's up, Donnie? Been a while, man.
Dangerous Donnie Davis?
Yes, Dangerous Donnie. Donnie is awesome dude, and he's posted on the Fib, and he's a OTC listener. So thanks for hanging out, Donnie. And so that's what's up for tonight. I guess I'll go ahead and introduce everyone. We already introduced our guest, Wendy. I am Johnny Wolfenstein, the pencil pusher and producer of media for Trick or Treat Radio, the Deadites, the Grand Guignol Network, and also one of the co-hosts of the Five Hossman Wrestling Podcast and the Outside Corner Fantasy Baseball Podcast, which are now all up and running in full effect. And Mars, you and I are going to record another episode of the Five Hossman coming up soon here.
Yeah, sure.
So should be interesting.
Just call me, I'll come.
All right. And we also have, you just heard the voice, the man, the immortal gunslinger, singer and lyricist for the Deadites, Dynamo Mars.
Hi, everybody.
And
How you doing today?
He is also one of the co-hosts of the Five Hossman Wrestling Podcast.
It's true. In fact, when you were doing your intro, I had to wait till you got to the outside corner. 'Cause I thought I had blinked out and you started introducing me.
Oh.
I was like, wow, these are all my credentials as well.
We also have the vulgar guru of horror, star of Blood Pig's Fetus and the upcoming Morbid Tales, and one-time contributor for Horror Hound magazine, Monster Zero.
Hello, everybody.
We have the triumph riding, stage erecting, chief of security, and America's sweetheart, Ares, the god of war.
Hello.
America's
You're
Spaghetti.
so complex.
You're so
You shut the fuck up. Let have someone else talk, please. It's a discussion show.
You're so extra, Ares.
You're
He
so
doesn't know what that
some-
means, so I can say it.
You know something? You talk too much.
you're so complex. People are gonna start moving into you.
And his fucking intro has grown even more this
Oh, my
week
Lord. It's very exciting.
Why?
Wendy, get a snack.
because someone asked for something to be added, so I had to add it.
I think this intro is going to be it contains more words than the amount of words that Ares
Ares
is
will
gonna
say all episode? Yeah.
all night.
All right, need to take a deep breath. The chain smoking, hand kissing, baby shaking, lorazepam loving, comic book reading nerd, the official smoke chamber for Castle Wolfenstein, the pimper promotions, the Italian rapscallion, the professional bullshitter, the cool principal, and the Parisian Bruja himself, Michael Ravenshadow,
That's right, Johnny. And you should also add.
proprietor of the Sexy Speakeasy.
And that, too. But you can also say.
He's putting it in there. You know what? I was counting it. That's 12 fucking things. That's 12.
That's 10. This is 11. But you can also add.
He knows. That's what's funny.
What's how many fingers I have? Also,
You have to unbutton your pants account?
oh, slow it down.
Only if what he ends on is a half.
You can also chalk up the fact that I've now seen The Last Jedi.
Oh, yeah. I'm not fucking adding that to
Yeah.
your intro, you
Thanks-
asshole.
Thanks
But
for calling me asshole.
I did. Well, you said you had to tie it up.
Taking all sorts of fucking photos.
Yeah.
it's been 2
You know,
fucking
I
months.
still haven't seen it, but I've been able to piece it together from people's complaints.
Well, here's the thing, Wendy.
Yeah. So I just like to pretend it's like Porg. Finn goes to a casino and plays Baccarat. Porg. I don't know.
Wait, the Swedish Jedi?
Let's-
Porg.
All right, Raven Shadow. No spoiler. What did you think?
No spoiler, but listen, I was kind of getting anxiety. I almost like didn't want to see it. You know what I mean? Because I have people who I liked who enjoyed it.
It took you, I guess, a month, a little bit more than a month to see it.
Almost a month. It opened on the 15th of December.
Yeah.
And then I have people who I know and respect and hated it, and there was like vile hate. And I watched it kind of waiting for the first to drop. Like, what's going to happen? Like, Luke's going to touch somebody inappropriately. Like, I mean, what's taken by the boathouse? Like, so I'm getting anxiety. I'm like, this is where he fucking touches somebody or something. But I liked it, and the more I thought about it, I liked it more. I just don't understand where the hate really comes from.
Well, you got to listen to our 5-hour and 12-minute episode about it.
That's a good segue. But no, I enjoyed it.
But I without spoilers,
Yep.
there was a lot of fan theories, and when what happened in the movie didn't match these fan theories that these people put months and sometimes years into, they feel like they got a shit end of the stick because it wasn't what they wanted.
Well, fuck 'em.
Well, they should write their own movie.
Wouldn't you enjoy that more? Like,
I
they
would.
surprised me. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I totally would, absolutely. And I actually saw this past week. I saw someone broke it down on Twitter. I saw someone share it, and it was like a 20-tweet sort of rant about why they loved it, and it was really cool. Just talking about some of the reasons why. I'm not going to get into them, obviously, because we'll keep the spoiler free because I know there's still some people who listen to the show who haven't seen it. But I liked the story arc that we got of sort of the character, of
Yes.
of Luke's story arc.
Well-
and I thought that it was a very fitting way to do it.
If you listen to our 5-hour Wrestle Kingdom discussion,
Yes.
you'll find out that both Star Wars fans and wrestling fans get upset when things don't go the way they think they're
Exactly,
gonna go.
yeah.
What are we even doing here?
So there's no way you can please everyone, and
In the sexy speakeasy.
yeah,
$5 extra for a tire swing ride.
We're gonna broadcast live from the Sexy Speakeasy. We should do that one night.
Won't all
no.
fit.
we're not doing that.
Well,
It'll look like a Marx Brothers skit.
You'll have to give us all the password.
all right. It's got like a.
Can you change the password? Like call your IT guy?
Well, that's you.
Can we tell Montezero that the password is chlamydia? So he can just wait in a room and hear him say it over again.
it's like not syphilis.
It's Fidelio. Is that the password?
Nipple.
All right. So,
Treat.
Treat?
Yeah.
What, your intro was a treat?
Well, no.
Only for him it is.
Star Wars.
Who said he was a professional bullshitter? What was that one?
That was Julie Meow Meows.
Well, she can say whatever she wants.
I know. That's why I put it in there, Mars, for you.
She's not in the chat room today, is she?
Not that I've seen yet.
They have. She has an inch of snow. I'm nervous about her.
An inch of snow.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about
Yeah,
her.
we should go over there and shovel.
Yeah,
There-
I should take care. Go. I'll be right back.
Aries, there's a question for you. Creepy Girl asks, what's Aries drinking tonight?
Same thing I drink every night. Whiskey.
What kind, though?
You mean every show, by the way, not every night.
No,
Every night.
No, he drinks every night. Can't ruin his reputation.
Just because I leave this bottle here doesn't mean I don't have another one at home.
Or in the truck.
Or
Were you all sauced up when we went on our grocery store date the other day?
grocery store
Define
date.
sauced up.
Define grocery store day.
We took a nice ride out to Hudson to go to the Market Basket and did a bunch of grocery shopping. It was nice.
Oh, Carlos wants me to add the Baron of Banana Fingers.
Carlos. It's too long as it is.
This is turning into like a Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal Podcast intro.
You're going to have your own fucking show for your intro.
Nice.
It's like his
If I
wallet.
knew that was going to take, I'm going to start writing.
All right, so we got to get moving on because we have Wendy for a window of opportunity here. We want to make sure we get everything in. So what we'll do is we'll talk about everything else later on. We'll shill some stuff and we'll do some of the intro stuff. So we're going to just hop right into the review. Raven Shadow, while I get everything set up, why don't you go ahead and tell people what you did to prepare to watch Happy Death Day?
Oh man, you know what I mean? Like it was nice. I was really went for a nice, also a little man date with Aries and our buddy Thomas Smythe.
Thanks so much.
You had plans, and I was feeling bad because Dynamo couldn't come because you had other.
Practice got canceled. You didn't even call follow up.
You didn't tell me.
You know, I'm going to stop spending time with you guys if you keep on calling them mandates.
All right, how about bro benches?
Bro Ventures.
How about dude journeys?
Although a mandate sounds like it's a mandate, like you're required to do it.
That's what's funny, Wendy.
Yeah.
It has double meaning.
Right.
Yes, see?
That's the thing. You know what I mean? So after I'm trying to figure out what alliterations to use.
Well, you've also got the Monday mandate when you do the beginning of the week.
I like
True.
that. How about Wednesday?
Uh-oh.
I don't really. I got nothing for W.
Got nothing but W.
So I'm home alone. I got nothing for W, so I have anxiety at home. I'm thinking about Star Wars. I'm feeling bad that Dynamo couldn't come, even though he told me he had plans.
I did. I had practice and some other thing I didn't do that day.
But you knew we were going.
I was sad.
No. So then I'm sad that Dynamo's sad. And then I'm like, all right, I got to not think about Star Wars. I got to get ready for Happy Death Day because there's nothing on the CW, so I think I can check this out. And I get excited because it's a PG-13 horror movie. I know that's going to be awesome. So I was to get ready to put that on.
Wait, so this movie was PG-13?
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
well,
what I
yeah.
said, Wendy.
Yeah.
It didn't do better. You would think that its box office would have done much better.
Yeah.
Am I right? Because,
I
I mean,
agree.
like, it apparently it was considered one of the flops of the year. And I don't understand why, because Blumhouse usually makes, like, the surprise hits of the year, you know?
Yeah, it is interesting, definitely. So Raven Shadow, finish your thing.
So
please.
as I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about how it didn't do well. And
You weren't
how,
thinking about that.
you know, it didn't really, Blumhouse, they're fucking good.
fucking good.
Say strap on.
So then I strapped on.
All right, well, we're not going to break, so it's...
What did you,
Oh, you got him all excited he was going to have a
that's
cigarette.
what we do. I thought Wendy, listen. I thought we weren't going to go to the break. And then Johnny did all the things that make us get ready to go to the break.
Yeah, it fucking psyched you out.
So now my feelings are hurt.
Well, we're jumping right into the review, so
Well, you confused me.
good.
Doesn't take much, does it?
You're not getting a full password.
Shit, the alphabet confuses you.
I don't want the fucking password.
You can't have it.
I won't come in to fix your tech then.
You have to come in. Will you come over?
Literally, if we all go in, we're like anyone, away from being like a reenactment of the cabin scene from A Night at the Opera. Like that's not a very big room.
It's this size.
No,
it
it's
this
not this
size?
side.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think so.
It is.
It is. All right, let's jump into the movie. All right, so
Like Final Girls.
Happy Death Day from 2017 is rated PG-13. It is 96 minutes long. It is a horror mystery thriller, according to IMDb, and is directed by Christopher Landon and written by Scott Lobdell.
I think it's from
Yes.
comics Scott Lobdell,
Yes,
right?
it is.
So you see that
Yeah.
tie-in?
I caught that at the end. I was like,
Wendy actually hipped us to that.
Yeah, because I was surprised. I was like, is it the same Scott Lobdell? And yeah, he writes movies now. So good for him.
he's my boy.
He is your boy?
Well, not him. I'm not
That's what I
giving.
figured it, boy.
I'm not giving him a password, but
All right.
maybe a safe word.
Safe word. The
Boathouse.
And the cast, let's see, we have on the cast Jessica Roth, Israel Broussard, Ruby Modine, Charles Aitken, Laura Clifton, Jason Bale, and Rob Mello.
By the way, that's David Lee Roth's daughter.
It is not.
It is.
She spells her name differently.
Well, that's to try to separate herself from the great acting career of her father.
Why wouldn't she use Lee Roth then?
Because that's his middle name.
Yeah.
Because she's
All right.
running Canal Diablo.
Big bad Lee Roth Brown.
The synopsis we have here. A college student must relive the day of her murder over and over again in a loop that will end only when she discovers her killer's identity. So this flick, and you guys talked about the box office, so I pulled up some box office here, and it definitely wasn't a flop, especially the way that Blumhouse, their sort of business model. This film, the production budget was less than $5 million, and domestically it grossed $55 million.
Wow.
And
okay.
if you take into account the foreign, it did 59 foreign, so total worldwide 115 mil. So
For a $5 million
for a $5
budget.
million, yeah, that's a
Nothing wrong with
success.
that.
Yeah, maybe not quite as good as they would have liked.
Yeah. Compared
But-
to other Blumhouse, this is on the low end of their list.
Yeah,
But I got a theory as to, for why.
especially like for instance, like Get Out was another Blumhouse flick, and that did 254 worldwide, which really isn't, I guess, not that much more than Happy Death Day. It did, it did about double, maybe a little bit more than double of Happy Death Day. What were you gonna say, MZ?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking, I have a theory as to why it didn't do as well, and I mean, I'm going to get a lot of flack for it probably,
Okay.
but the reason why is probably the reason why I didn't go see it, and that's because of the horrid title. I mean, if you,
What's
you
wrong
go-
with the title?
I think the
That's
title
not
is
all those
absolutely
things.
dreadful.
It's fine.
No, it's not fine.
Okay,
It's-
what would you have called this movie?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but Happy Death Day would certainly not be it.
How about Residue?
Don't.
What?
No.
What is wrong with this fucking title?
Oh, well,
It's
first
like
of all,
Happy Birthday, but she keeps dying. Happy Death Day. You son of
Oh,
a
gee
bitch.
whiz! Oh, is that what that's all about?
Jesus Christ.
Doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it any better. Not to mention the fact it's not an original title. Okay,
How many movies have original titles these days?
none. But if you watch, if you go through Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. You go through Friday the 13th, the final chapter. There's a photograph of a cake with Tom Savini and I think Ted White and a couple of the other people, and it says on the cake, "To Jason Voorhees, Happy Death Day."
Well,
And I thought back then, when I first saw that, I thought that was just the corniest. I mean, I'm sure back then
Why
they
is it
thought
so corny?
I'm sure back then they thought it was
This is inane.
it was a
This is
slick little
inane.
idea.
Yeah.
A nice little
Play
you know,
on, because
play on
birthday
words,
means you created.
Yeah,
Earth means
yeah.
you died.
But,
Well, this
but
film-
it was just it's
this
just
film had a
horrible
lot
title.
of references to 80s films and slasher films, so you don't think that
God.
the referentialness of the
Oh, no, sure,
birthday may
sure.
have been an homage to that.
Oh sure,
I
sure.
doubt it, because
but that
it's-
doesn't mean I have to like the title.
No, you don't have to, but it's crazy to think that you were relating the title to why this movie didn't do well.
Yes, because it's happened before millions of times.
Millions,
Examples.
millions of movies have flopped.
Examples.
Examples.
Do you hear that on the news?
Hold on, shut up. First of all,
sorry,
he's
Wendy.
speaking. I got him to talk.
millions.
All right.
Millions.
Oh, here we
It's
go.
not even like millions of movies.
Is
Hey,
that-
Wendy,
wait
it
a
looks like
second.
you're going to be staying overtime or you're
Is
not going to be
that-
able to get your list because Wolfie can't shut his fucking cockhole.
I'm still waiting for the examples.
Last House on the Left. Last House on the Left, back in the day, was called Night of Vengeance. Did shitty in the box office. Retitled it Last House on the Left, became a smash.
Are you sure that the controversies surrounding that film didn't make
Yeah.
it?
No! It's the same movie,
Yes,
they
yes.
just changed the title.
So you're trying
Okay,
to tell me?
so they changed the title, re-released it in the theaters, and millions upon millions of people went and saw that
Yes.
movie.
Here's another one.
Millions.
No,
Star
Aries.
Wars. Know what it was called originally? Cracker Skywalker Goes West.
Okay.
Made $4.
Aries. It was
$4.
actually it's not. You're getting the number wrong. This phenomenon of a bad name tanking a movie has actually happened. 100, comma. 0,
comma.
0, comma.
No, you missed a comma.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, that's one.
Okay. What is it? One isn't enough.
You
for
you
said
said
a million.
millions. So
I'd like
I'm,
at least
I'm-
two.
Well, yeah, you think I'm really going to come up with millions?
Yes.
No.
Yes,
but,
name them.
But 2 or 3 is not beyond reason when
Okay,
you, when you
okay,
spout off
guy.
millions.
Okay, give me a second.
If there's millions, you should.
Oh,
know
will
that-
you shut up?
Do you want us to play like
Christ,
End
you
of the
can't
World
shut
is-
up for 2 seconds. You've been hanging around with this guy too much.
Do you want us to play End of the World as we know it, or we didn't start the fire so you could name him? We didn't like the title, so we're not going to. We're not going. Instead, we're going bowling.
Let me think. Hold on. Things that I'm
I
agitated.
know it's
now.
difficult for you to think, but
I'm agitated now.
Somebody
Hold on.
take the batteries out of smoke detectors.
Hey, I gave you one, and that's one more than you expected.
What was
so
the
that
one?
should be enough.
no. I figured you had one because you spouted off.
And to be fair,
and I
That's why
did.
I wanted more than one.
to be
Okay.
fair, 1 is part of 1 million. It's right in the title.
Well, I know that Gleaming the Cube was originally called The Brothers Justice, but that changed. That was
No, I
No,
thought
that changed after
that
the
was
fact.
after-
That's
that
true.
was re-edited the film where they took out all the skateboarding.
Yeah.
And they just called it a Brother's Vengeance or a Brother's Justice.
Well, I know that. I was just trying to help him. I was trying
Don't
to
help him.
I was trying to throw him a bone.
Anytime now.
Yeah, we're still waiting.
You don't have to wait for me. Just
Yeah, we are.
We are.
No,
We're
no,
waiting.
we're
Oh,
waiting.
now you guys want to shut up. You guys are a bunch of dicks.
Hey,
All
hey,
of you.
Hey! I want to shut up the whole fucking show, but people won't let me. So
Oh yeah. Oh, people won't let you. You're gonna let people do.
You-
You're gonna let people.
you dragged me into
dictate
this.
what you want.
You dragged me into this.
I didn't drag you into this at all. You
Yeah,
dragged
did.
yourself into
No,
it.
because you pissed me off. You dragged me into this. Another fucking example.
Monster Zero.
Okay.
Another example, or admit you're wrong.
I'm not going to admit I'm wrong. I'll give you another example. Just give me a second, okay?
Oh,
Give me a second. We've given you 10 minutes.
Because you haven't shut up.
Well, you know what?
Because you don't give me enough time to think. I always got to defend myself over your stupid words.
You do realize that dead air isn't that compelling to the people listening, right?
This coming from the guy who barely talks.
But all you other motherfuckers are talking. I don't need to. Why do I need to crowd the mic?
Tiny pickup.
Crowd the mic.
Wait, the real one or the fake one?
Wendy, I'm open for a trashy trio reunion.
So nothing. So you're wrong.
Free.
Okay.
No, I'm not wrong.
We always need a third, you know.
Jay,
so.
Jay loves me.
We have. Let me just real quick. We'll take a quick break. We'll let MZ think of another one. We have a Raven J drawing, and this is.
It's pretty close.
Is that Richard Simmons?
It's Richard Simmons
Okay.
in the Sexy Speakeasy.
Jesus.
And he's saying, Michael, didn't I say pink, not fucking yellow?
Wow.
Is that what the Sexy Speakeasy looks like?
It's kind of like the futon, although my futon does have it's a theater futon.
and more stains.
No, it's black leather. It wipes off. But it's got cup holders on the hands. Yeah,
That's pretty fucking great, Raven J.
that's pretty fucking good.
That is good.
I bet you do have some curtains like that, though.
I do. I have what do you call the curtains that are just on the top and not on the sides?
Oh.
Blinds?
No.
You're talking about blinds?
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Moving
Don't
on.
let him think of anything else. He's supposed to be thinking of movie titles.
I'm distracted. That's amazing, Raven. I want to frame
Is that your new tattoo?
Yeah, but let's go to in the room. Let's go over the TV.
All right, MZ, you can continue to think about
Thank you.
titles. Millions. Happy Death Day is fine. Would you like to call it Birthday Death Day?
No.
Well, let's throughout the show. Let's throw this out to the listeners. What would your superior title to Happy Death Day be?
I got one.
Yes. Oh, Carlos has one. He says, what should they name it then? Dead Hogs Day?
No, well,
That's pretty good. Yeah. How about Ground Dead?
how about
Day?
slashy Groundhog's Day?
Evil Corny wants to know, did MZ have a bad death day as a kid?
I have a bad day every day as a kid.
First Time Mike says, Fright Night was originally My Neighbor is a Motherfucking Vampire.
That's a pretty good title.
Raven J said, this is amazing. First Time Mike also says, Fulci's Gates of Hell was going to be Twilight of the Dead, but Romero's people were going to sue.
That's true. That's true.
That's not why I did poorly.
And Carlos says, Texas Chainsaw Massacre could have been called Head Cheese.
It could have.
That was the original title of the film.
Head cheese?
Head Cheese.
What's that mean?
Have you seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
You shouldn't be thinking about titles.
Stop asking me questions.
What's head cheese?
Do you not know what head cheese is?
Wait.
Head
That-
cheese.
It's not what you think it
Is that the safe word you use for the Sexy Speakeasy?
Head cheese. Oil
Head cheese. It's like a formed meat thing that's like all the gross parts of the meat that they don't want to use, and they just like make it into like a big bologna type mush.
Yeah.
And it's called head cheese.
Oh.
They take the nose and the eyes and everything, and they just scrape off all the meat off the bone, put it into a big molten thing. It's disgusting.
Hey, Monster Zero,
Dino has a question.
did you learn about head cheese in the same place that you got that figure about 1 million movies?
What?
Head cheese.
He eats
What?
it in the dark in the Sexy Speakeasy.
I'm just trying to suss out your sources.
Are you telling me that Night of Vengeance is not the actual title of Last House on the Left?
No, I'm trying to tell you that is one example.
Yes, and one is a hell of a lot more than any of you guys thought I was going to come up with, and that should be enough.
As I said,
pissed
I
off
knew
Aries
you had
again.
one. That's why I want another one.
Okay, and I'm thinking of one.
You've been thinking for 10 minutes.
Yeah. No, because I'm rattling off what I'm rattling off in my brain what has been released and did poorly and then got re-released under a different title.
Keep in mind, this is the same fella who's number one on his list of films that hadn't been remade or
Sequelized or prequelized.
Had been remade 4 times.
That's right.
Twice, I think.
No, it was
Yep.
4.
Oh, okay. All right. So first time Mike says, yes, this is the old school Trick or Treat Radio. Hashtag MZ, let me talk.
Was it FTM?
Yes. And then Raven J says Al Snow and Steve Blackman, head cheese. Wasn't that their...
It's true, yeah.
Oh,
team name?
yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the Steve Blackman song in my head.
Wow, I
the other day.
forgot all
Oh,
about
did
that.
you?
Yeah.
Our version or the real one?
No, our version.
Nice.
Our version's the best.
All right, so let's go, because this
Yeah, we
motherfucker
didn't even
has-
talk about the
this
fucking movie.
motherfucker has 0 fucking examples.
No, I came up with one fucking example. Dick knows. Don't you know the difference between 1 and 0?
Yeah, but there are
There we go.
so
Okay,
many
fine.
that you
said
promised.
yes. Thank you. Let's continue.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Don't ask me any more questions. Sit back down and pour the whiskey in your ears.
If they changed the title of this movie to something else, something better, something that none of us have thought of,
Slashy Groundhog Day.
I like that.
it would make this movie better?
I didn't
What
say
about,
anything
like,
about making the movie better.
But people would
with-
see it?
What about calling it like Kappa Kappa Die?
That's pretty good.
Now that's good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right.
Except for it doesn't relay what happens in the movie.
It doesn't
Well,
have
you
to
get
relay
the
what
idea
happens in
that
the
there's
movie.
gonna be,
To,
like-
to a certain degree, it does.
To a certain
It's like Hot College Girls in Death. You know, that's pretty much what you're seeing this movie for, right?
Some of us, maybe.
PG-13, Wendy. It's a frustrating hour and a half.
It's like, are we?
All right, so let's get in it. We haven't even started talking about the movie yet. So this director had the last 2 films he did were The Scout's Guide to the Apocalypse and Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones.
Oh boy.
Did you like the Marked Ones, Mars?
I think so.
Okay, because I think I remember you saying you did.
Yeah, it was like a superhero origin. Actually, yeah, I did enjoy the Mark ones. Yeah.
Okay.
What was that? Was that 15?
No, yes,
16?
It's like 4, I think, right?
it was a million. You guys and your
4.
numbers. Yeah, I did like, and I did not like. It's funny. I was like halfway through the Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. I was like, why does everybody hate this movie? It's fine. And then it literally fell off a fucking cliff when the zombies started to show up. So,
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah, I still haven't seen that. And obviously, we mentioned it was written by Scott Lobdell, who is most known for his comic book work on, especially probably Marvel's X-Men titles, right? Is that what he's most well known for?
He's a big Marvel guy.
Yes. And so he also did the spin-offs. Did he do Generation X as well?
Wait, what?
Did he do Generation
yeah,
X?
Yeah, he did like some of those, like
Yeah, some of the spin-offs.
X Factor or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So mostly known as a X-Men writer, and now I think he's done some TV work, but I think it's his first feature that he's written, at least as far as I can tell, and just kind of taking a cursory glance through. So obviously, when you see the trailer for this movie, if you know anything about this movie, it's very clear they're going for a slasher meets Groundhog's Day, right? I mean that much is clear. You know going in, that's what you're getting.
And that's the elevator pitch, right? That's the...
Probably, yeah.
That's-
That's probably exactly what it was. Yeah, a slasher version of Groundhog's Day. And
Was there something before Groundhog's Day? This sort of like
Yeah.
repeating timeline kind of thing. Like, why is Groundhog's Day like always the touchstone for this? I feel like there must have been something before that had that same concept about repeating it over and over.
I'm trying to remember because I'm pretty sure there was.
Well, there was that one section. There was that one scene in A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 where the scene kept on getting repeated over and over and over again. But that was in 1988.
Yep.
But as far as a whole movie dedicating to that kind of idea, I can't think of one.
I can't think of one, and I don't think there was one as popular as Groundhog Day. So.
Right. I think the big thing is
I think there was
came
a
out.
million.
Yes.
Well, this came out in a million. This one came out in 1993, and as far as we're all concerned, this was a movie that we all saw when we were younger, right? So we probably remember fondly.
I saw it a few weeks ago.
Well, I mean,
awesome.
you didn't first see it a few weeks ago.
No.
I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
I saw it in the
I think
theater,
I saw it
too.
in the theater too. Yeah.
The I haven't. I'm talking out my ass because I haven't seen it. But isn't Time Crimes very similar to like a kind of a Groundhog's Day sort of thing? Has anybody seen it?
the Spanish one?
Yeah.
It was by Nacho Vigalondo. I haven't seen it yet either. I've been meaning to, but I haven't seen it. So maybe some folks in the chat room can chime in. I bet they have some pretty good thoughts on this one. Creepy Girl says Triangle is one.
Yeah,
but that was more recent than Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Evil Corny says, and Raven J both said maybe a Twilight Zone episode. Probably. I would imagine that it sounds like it's something that would be a Twilight Zone episode. I've seen most of the episodes, and I don't remember that being a concept for it.
Holy shit! In 2013, there's a movie called Blood Punch that's about a time loop.
Blood Pugs?
Blood Punch.
Punch.
Oh, Blood Punch.
Should have fucking called Blood Punch.
What if they?
Opening day, if that were the title.
Yeah. What if they name this movie that, MZ?
Blood Punch?
Yeah.
Wouldn't exactly fit the narrative. Delta die or whatever it is that she said. I really like. Now that.
Delta Kill, I think she said, or something like that.
Yeah. Delta die, I think is.
Okay,
yeah. Now
yeah.
see, that's
Okay.
a good title.
That's pretty good.
So when we get this flick, we it starts as every day starts. It repeats. It's her waking up. She slept in this dude's room. You don't know what happened. Maybe she slept with this dude. Who knows, right? And we get a sense that the lead character Tree is not a very good person. Like, she's kind of a
Bad girl.
kind of a shitty girl, and yeah, a bit of a bad girl, right? I guess. And so right off the bat, like, you kind of don't like her
I liked her.
because you wanted to
he
fuck.
likes the bad
Because you wanted to
girls.
fuck her.
No, she's very young and blonde, and neither one of those are things that I'm into.
So why did you like her then? Yeah, there must be a million reasons.
I have a million reasons.
She has some chutzpah.
Yeah, something about her.
Yeah.
Something about her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a million things.
Yeah. He said one.
She had a good... Yeah, I said that one.
You don't need more than that.
Yeah.
The dude, what's his name? Colin, or what's his name?
Carter.
Carter.
Yeah.
He had a cool dorm room.
Why?
Well, he had a Repo Man poster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He had a
They
They Live
Live.
poster.
Yeah, how's They Live? That's right.
Yeah. No, and a Repo Man poster.
No, I saw Repo. I said the thing, though, but...
Oh.
Yeah. The only reason... I never remember character names, but for some reason, as soon as they said his name, I got the band name Carter, the Unstoppable Sex Machine, stuck in my head.
Yes.
So...
So, and then she's going through, and as she's making her way through her day, like, she's leaving the Carter's dorm, and you see these series of events, and you know that they're going to play out multiple times because we've all seen Groundhog's Day, and we know that this is going to become a sort of a gag or a thing, So we see all these things, and there's someone like trying to get her signature. There's like a goth kid staring her down. And there's some dude who passes out, and we have like the sprinklers go off, and this dude who's been trying to has been texting her, is kind of stalking her.
Yeah.
So we have all these things that are just going on. You can tell as we go through this day multiple times, these are going to come into play. And I thought that was very reminiscent of Groundhog's Day, which I thought was cool, and I think they did a good job of kind of utilizing those and having these sort of touchstones, I guess, throughout.
Yeah. No, exactly.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So now her ringtone was a song proclaiming that it's her birthday, but who has a ringtone for just one day? And she didn't want anyone to know it was her birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
That threw me too.
It's like, how'd you know it was my birthday? Because your fucking phone's been going off for 3 hours.
I got a bunch of them. I got a bunch of them, actually.
Switch it to that ringtone, at some point during the night, to decide, hey, I want my birthday ringtone.
There's probably a million reasons why.
Yeah. I actually have a whole litany of them. I have a ton of them, Wendy. I can go through them now. Let's see.
Well,
it's Arbor Day. It's Arbor Day.
It's Arbor Day.
Well, no,
you have any with Captain Captain Rocket or whatever who sings your birthday?
Hey,
Maz, it's your birthday.
I'm in charge of the stars.
Well, I'm not up on the technology, but I remember years ago there was you could buy a ringtone that if someone called you, they would hear a song as they were listening to your phone ring.
Yeah, but it wouldn't.
So it's not beyond reason that you could pick a ringtone that someone would hear if you call them.
Oh, it's Captain Zoom. They did the birthday
But
song.
you hear it.
Yes. That if I picked a ringtone, that if I called you, you would hear the ringtone I picked.
But you, as somebody who doesn't want people to know that he has a
It's your
birthday.
Why would you even?
But her father, I mean, great. This is far-fetched, but her father could download an app that lets him decide what ringtone she hears when he calls.
Does that exist?
I don't. It's not beyond reason.
Is her father gay?
Hold on. Donnie says, I don't remember this, but Donnie says that her roommate said it.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, she did say that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Oh, set it?
But then her
Yeah.
roommate has a password to her phone, and that girl's got way too much access.
Oh, we all know it's Boathouse. It's Raven Shadow's safe word.
She's got.
So thank you, Donnie. Yeah, the roommate had said it. So there you go. And
Okay, thank you, Donnie.
so we keep reliving this day over and over. And well, actually, before that, at the end of the day, she is sort of going to this party, and she's in this dark alley, and then all of a sudden, somebody with a mask on, who is the mascot of their school, it's like a baby face, which is fucking a weird.
Did anybody else think that's what Ares looks like if he shaved?
I've seen it once.
What? Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah, shaved his head and got rid of all that Wookiee hair.
Oh.
You know what it kind of looked like?
Don't
That
say
baby
Anne
face-
Hathaway.
No. No, it kind of looked like looked like the walking doll from Deep Red a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but I guess I could see
It
that.
sort of looked like
Maybe kind of like a younger version of that.
It sort of looked like the baby from Dead Alive, especially the scenes where they had like a full-size person running around in the baby suit.
Yeah. So at the end, she encounters, it's kind of like in this dark sort of like tunnel, encounters this kind of a toy that's going off, and then the dude with the baby mask shows up and then ends up killing her. She's dead. The minute she dies, she wakes up the next day and relives the day again. So we don't need to go through it all. That's what happens, and she keeps reliving the same day over and over. And
she starts getting a little wiser to all the clues that she's getting with every day that passes.
And there, it's funny because some days, like there's one day where she just goes out naked, because what's the big deal? I'm just gonna die and redo it all over again.
I'm gonna do that.
I liked her spying on the dude when she realized that guy was gay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was great.
That was pretty funny.
I was glad she was able to help him out. I was very happy for
Exactly.
for her eventual starting to have morality or whatever,
Yeah.
become a better person. Because I feel like that's the key to all these Groundhog Day things, is that you have to evolve and become a better person.
Yeah, I guess that's a good good point to say. She had realized that she was a bad person, and she did a lot of shitty things to people, and she treated them poorly. And when you're forced to relive these things every day, I think it's easy to see, like, oh shit, I'm a terrible person. I'm not a good person, because you're forced to relive and think about how you react to each situation. So I thought that was really interesting to. It has been a while since I've seen Groundhog Day, so I don't remember if that was a major theme of it.
Yeah, that's the punchline.
That's okay. So Mars didn't say it on.
That was the punchline.
Yeah. Okay. It's literally been 10 years at least since I've seen it. So,
Yeah.
but she kind of is reliving these moments and
What do you
realizing
fucking watch on Groundhog's Day?
nothing.
You really are a heathen.
Who else here watches Groundhog's Day and Groundhog's Day?
I don't know. It's Groundhog Day. This is my shadow.
So, and I thought that was, I thought that was cool that we got sort of this look at her morality, and she realized that, hey, I could probably be reacting differently to certain things. One other thing I wanted to mention before we get too deep into it is her sorority mate Danielle was fucking ridiculous. Are there actually real people like that?
I think there are.
Yeah.
I've read a lot about like weird sorority stuff, and because like they control like what you eat and what you wear, and like there's all kinds of weird sorority rules.
I mean, if that's the way it is, I'm glad I never went to college, man. It seems like a total hellhole.
You wouldn't have been in a sorority, my friend.
No, nor would I want to be.
College?
You can't be, you asshole.
Why?
Kappa Kappa Zero.
Kappa Kappa capping your ass, bitch.
Gabba gabba wee. I think so. Here's one thing that, and I have a little bit of insight on.
Into sororities?
Yes.
I had the binoculars once.
Yeah. Though Tiny, I don't know if there's sororities at Becker, but Tiny and I would scale the walls of Becker College and steal things that people would leave on their ledge, like beers and stuff like that. Not to drink them, we would shoot them with arrows. But
First time Mike actually said the Mask of the Killer reminds me of the Laughing Doll in Deep Red. So there you go.
there you go.
Oh.
But a lot of the, like, my assistant, who you've met, I think, Wolfie, her friends, some of them were like those, like, mean girls.
Yeah.
Like you'd see. So, like, I like, this movie, like,
I think it was a caricature. Like,
Yeah.
I think they definitely went a little over the top.
I can tell you that, like, this was not a super in a John Hughes sort of way, like you say, it was like, it was turned up to 11.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this was not a totally inaccurate version of
Okay.
the priorities and stuff of young, like I was literally like, it was a total culture shock for me the first couple of years because I was surrounded by 18-year-old women, and like their priorities are obviously not the same as mine. So, and there were more of them than there was me. So, but this is pretty accurate to those crazy girls.
Yeah, yeah. And Leanna is now in the chat room, and she says, as a girl in college, that's not the sole collegiate experience. But I do know that, and T-Dog was actually kind of reluctantly was in a sorority for her last year, and she did say that a lot of that stuff a lot of that stuff does kind of happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean,
there's some shitty things that
That's
happen.
not-
I knew Hope said that's why she didn't want to join a sorority.
Yeah.
And shit like that.
Yeah.
That is nauseating.
So, there was some annoying bits of it, and you could kind of see. So one of the other running themes here is that she's kind of running away from some issues. Her mom had died 3 years prior, and also she's kind of avoiding her dad. Every morning, what wakes her up is her dad calling her. So and she never calls him back, and there's this kind of this theme about her. And as it gets further on, and you get to see the days unfold, that she is avoiding things, and she's sort of hiding from her past and hoping that things will just kind of, if she ignores them, they'll go away. Is kind of the thing,
I wonder if when she goes to the party and that dude lures her into his like sexy disco room.
Yes.
Is that
Sexy
the
speakeasy,
His
right?
sexy speakeasy.
That's what I was thinking about. It's my finished product.
You got lights and
It's
everything
gonna look
going
like
on.
that?
I do actually. I do have like flashing Raven lights. I really do.
Is it you just flipping the switch up and down?
Fucking neon lights and everything.
Ollie likes that. My dog.
Neon paint with black light.
Oh, wait a minute.
Sorry, Wendy. Please continue.
Sorry, you.
That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I would totally be lured into a sexy disco room.
And so she's already died once at this point. Like, she meets the killer in the alley, and this is the second night, and she's kind of like, I thought that was kind of interesting because when the dude answers the door when she goes to the party, he's wearing that mask. Like, he's wearing the the school mascot mask, and she punches him like right away.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. And then later on, he also puts it on again to scare her. So we're kind of at this thing where we don't know if it's the killer or if it's the dude that's kind of like fucking around with her, So I thought that was kind of interesting. And each time that she dies, and this isn't getting into spoiler territory really, but each time that she dies in a different way. And I thought that was pretty cool, and I liked that they took that opportunity to just sort of like show different ways. It was kind of like, because in a slasher you see all these different deaths, right? But when you kill the same person over and over, you're imagining you're going to get the same kill over and over. But I thought that was interesting how she tried to circumvent the rules, so to speak, or to try to get away. But no matter what, she would always die.
My favorite thing about it was I like the fact that they're actual stakes because she would endure bodily injury.
Yeah.
From every time. I thought that was different.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah, like when she would wake up the next morning, she would have she would have a certain injury or
Yeah, yeah.
or something
just-
that would relate.
It just caught up to her. It wasn't
To-
that she had those same injuries, but it was definitely taking a toll on her body.
Like there's this one scene where I had a really good laugh at when she decides, I won't say, well, I guess it doesn't really matter, but there's one scene where she decides to hang herself, and then she wakes up the next morning with Dad's phone ring, and then
yeah,
she
the crook
cracks her
neck,
neck.
yeah.
And I got a good chuckle out of that. So that was
She
pretty
does state when she is at the diner towards the end that every time she comes back, she's getting weaker. She doesn't really go into exactly how, but like just sort of like
There's a time limit.
yeah, she feels like she's running out of lives. So
Yeah, exactly. She said, I think the line was, I feel like a cat running out of 9 lives or something. So, yeah, so it was interesting how each day unfolded. And then there was one time when, and once again, we'll try to tiptoe around this, but she tells Carter, the guy whose dorm she slept over, she kind of tells him what happened. And he doesn't think she's crazy, which, her roommate thought she was crazy, right? When she tried to tell the roommate. And Carter kind of was like, okay, like, yeah, he's going along with it. And then he actually brings up some interesting points of, and then so she gets kind of inspired to try to like solve the mystery, I guess, of her dying and to figure out how to break this cycle. And when that happens, I thought that was really cool. They did kind of a montage of like several days in a row where she finds out something
Right.
new.
Right.
which I thought, like, I feel like that's a writer's fucking Yahtzee right there, because they managed to have this is one of the most referential films I've seen in a long, long time without being like a sort of meta thing like Scream, without
Yeah,
like
yeah.
really rubbing your face in it. But it does kind of toe that line a little bit, and it did the '80s teen movie montage, but it also served the mechanics of the film.
Yeah.
Something I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
Enjoyed that element.
And I think that the movie really picked up at that point because we set the tone, we get a good feel for what the movie is about, what the world is about, and then at that point, I feel like it really kind of ramped up and was just a really good way of advancing the story while giving you little bit-sized pieces to give you enough information. I that's when I really started to get more interested in the film when that happened. So. And
also, it showed her as being smarter. It showed
Yeah.
her as evolving and
Yes.
really, yeah, exactly. Like she wasn't just this dumb sorority bitch at that point. It was like she was actually someone actively invested in picking people off the list.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool where she made a list of names of people and she would kind of cross them off as she found out that they couldn't have been the killer because, like they ended up dying or something happened to them and she realized that they weren't the killer, so she was crossing them off, and I thought that was a cool scene. And it's interesting to see how she realizes, and I mentioned this earlier, how she's a bad person as she relives these days over and over, and you can see each day she reacts a little bit differently to one of those situations,
Right.
to kind of signal like, hey, she is realizing the error of her ways and growing, and the true test is when she deals with stuff with her family, like the family stuff that's coming up. And I thought that was really like just a cool thing because it's showing her growth and it's showing her like dealing with her problems, which, ultimately I'm trying to tiptoe around this because there's not a big explanation as to why this happens. Not that there needs to be, but, why she's reliving each day over and over. But, it's a perfect sort of mechanic for her to grow as a person. It's a great way to show that. And I thought they're just really
there
ingenious.
wasn't any reasoning. I liked that.
Yeah.
Like it was just a thing. Also, I was convinced. Was anybody else convinced that like her deaths were connected to like her mother's death? Was anybody else like, oh, it's got to be somebody who killed them both?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think that, but that makes sense.
I did because I feel like Scream was part of this film's DNA.
That's exactly what I thought.
You know, so I thought that, and I'm glad, that it did pan out the way that it did. But I felt like it was, I felt like it was almost a sure thing that it was going to circle back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it started, and when the big reveal came about, it started to feel a little bit more like a Twilight Zone episode, which I'm like, okay, I'm digging this. I really like that because it wasn't like that at all. throughout the entire movie, and then at certain points it started to become, well, maybe this is like a Twilight Zone episode. Then it started adding more to it, like you would say, Dynamo. It would have like 3 or 4 different 3 or 4 endings. It could have ended at this point. It could have ended at this point.
Well,
I think it ended.
Yeah.
I think it ended on a perfectly logical point.
I agree, and not that it was in fact, no. What's funny about it is that if this movie ended like it looked like it was ending, I would have been dissatisfied because I felt like, despite everything else that was going on, I felt like it was just like almost like an arbitrary jump that got made to get that information.
Yeah.
But I do not that this film had any elements of a giallo, but it did have.
It's definitely a bit of a whodunit.
So yeah, it did have some of the things like I love in slasher films when, like I've always said in A New Beginning, that the screenplay was actually written so subversively, kind of brilliantly, that once you knew I'm going to spoil it. Once you knew that Jason wasn't Jason.
Whoa! What the fuck, man?
There was actually like
I was just gonna watch it tomorrow.
there was actually all these red herrings that all these other characters. Pardon me.
Whoa! Jesus Christ!
Hey, she farted in the movie. I can burp on the radio. There are all these things that.
I hated that part.
Why?
Why'd you hate it?
I don't like gas.
I don't like flatulence.
I don't.
You don't have flatulence.
No.
Farts are disgusting.
Italians
You never fart.
Where is he going to store the gas? Look at him, for Christ's sake.
Who's your tag team partner?
Well,
Yeah, he's got enough for both of you.
Yeah.
right. Some
Gaseous
things-
clay over there.
Gaseous clay.
But yeah, there is a cool, like, go back and watch it, and there are all these like red herrings that are in there that the killer could be.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
See, I thought the killer was telegraphed, and I knew exactly who the killer was.
So
You knew it?
Yeah.
You figured it out?
Yeah, immediately.
Right from the get-go, I knew exactly who it was.
Well, in retrospect, it's very obvious.
Oh,
Not in retrospect,
No,
right
in-
from the
in-
beginning.
No. But what I'm saying to me, who I didn't know, once it comes, it's like, oh, because
Yeah.
there's some information that only one person knows.
And I mean, at the risk of a spoiler,
Take it easy, Aries.
But fuck it, I'm gonna say it anyway.
yeah, no,
Take it
I
easy.
mean at the mislead, I was annoyed.
I was too. Well, not annoyed, but I was like, I don't know that this. Like,
Well, because I was
all of a
like,
sudden-
this makes absolutely
this
no
come from?
sense.
Yeah,
I
that
feel
that
like we're
seems
watching
it was-
Shocker all of a sudden.
Yeah, that seemed like a.
Shocker.
No, I know what Aries means because it seemed like that was like
Ixnay on the shock me.
maybe a last second addition to just sway the audience to
Which
throw
is
them off
very
their scent.
giallo. Which is very giallo. Like
It
all of
is.
a sudden, in a new person who could be the killer in the last
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah, it's actually like
it happens all the time.
actually now that you say it, I hadn't thought giallo. Like it just didn't occur to me but now that you mention it, like absolutely, I think that the way it ended was sort of like a giallo. It's
Well,
like,
as a-
here's something you maybe didn't even think of.
As
or
a frustrated screenwriter, I can tell you that there's always room for giallo.
there's always
There was no black leather gloves there. I was a little disappointed nobody
Yeah.
had black leather gloves.
Yeah, right.
You know what is also my dumb joke made me lose my very logical thing that I wanted to say. Yeah, I saw a very funny GIF once that I can't remember what giallo it was, but when they revealed they like were doing like someone was getting stabbed like a ridiculous amount of times and not dying, and they were doing like body blow, like in like Tyson, and then the person like took their mask off, and it's like now enter a new player.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yes.
yes.
Yeah. So, let's see what else. What else do I have here? Oh, one thing, Raven Shadow, I thought you would appreciate is the roommate, the friend who slept in his car.
Yes.
and he was said that it smelled like hot pockets and feet.
Yes.
I thought you might appreciate that.
Yeah, that's my favorite aroma. That's awesome.
That's his favorite incense.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Hot pockets and feet.
Yeah, it's
He's
like
got-
fucking my.
He's got
That's
Axe
your
body
house,
spray.
isn't it?
Yeah.
He's got Axe body
No,
spray
I
of that
think-
stuff.
I was thinking about this. Like I think I would have enjoyed this movie a lot more if I were 15.
Yes.
Like, is this the type of thing that you really would have liked if you were a teenager?
I don't know.
I think so.
would.
I think
I
so,
would.
yeah.
I think so.
I
because-
No. Speaking as
I mean,
as a male, as a teenage male, I would have been very pissed off. There's no boobs in this.
That's 15-year-old Aries. Don't get mad, John.
Well, to be honest,
Yeah,
I was a
none of
little
the-
annoyed that there wasn't any boobs in it right now.
Yeah, none of the kills were very graphic.
No, that's the one thing I will say is I think the PG-13 rating was
PG-13 rating.
fine
Toned
except
it
for the
down.
kills, because this is essentially like a slasher film. It should have some better kills than that. And what happened was, I mean, they took the, they had a bit of a budget, so they could have done some, they definitely could have done some gore gags in this, but
But they were smart in how they
well, I
they
understand
orchestrated
it was
the deaths
a
because
choice,
there were
yeah.
there were a bunch of deaths in here that didn't need any violence, that didn't need any gore, I should say. But the
well, especially because
the
she
kills
comes
were
back.
effective. Yes,
I have
but the
one.
kills
I mean,
were
this
effective.
movie could have probably gotten a PG rating.
Well, I don't know about that.
Probably not with the with the material.
I actually have no fucking clue, though, to be
Maybe
honest,
back
because
then it probably would have.
in the 80s probably.
Yeah,
I just watched I just crammed all the available episodes of the Grant Morrison inspired Happy,
Oh yeah.
and that
Oh, yeah,
shit
yeah,
that
I
shit's
haven't watched
violent.
it.
You know?
Have you seen it yet, Wendy?
I haven't watched it yet. I think it's streaming on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, all right, I got to catch up with that.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think you'll dig it the most.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's funny because I really didn't like the comic, but I hear it's actually better than the comic. So
Oh,
I would
interesting.
agree it's better, but I liked the comic in the sense where I liked it, I enjoyed it, and it wasn't like it was one of the first things where they got back to telling like reasonable stories. It wasn't Grant Morrison telling a 12-issue story with
Right.
like with 5 one-shots like around it. And
Here's a classic Raven J. I don't know if you guys remember Gassy Freddy Blassie and Gaseous Clay. It's a classic Raven J right there.
That's sexy, right?
Mars as Gassy Freddy Blassie, I think, and Raven Shadow, you're Gaseous Clay.
I don't know if I should be.
yeah, everyone
He's
knows.
got the physique right.
That's just pretty close.
Everyone knows how much I love Classy Freddy, though.
Yeah,
True.
that's amazing, Raven J.
Pencil
It's a
neck
blast,
geeks.
blast from the past. So let's start to wind this down a little bit. Was there anything anyone wanted to discuss that we haven't brought about yet?
One thing they did in this that almost every repeat timeline movie does that I'm very annoyed with is regardless of how long it takes them to get to the scenes that establish the repeat of the timeline,
Yeah.
everything happens exactly the same. Didn't matter how long it took her to leave that dorm room. She always met the creepy techno guy. The sprinklers turning at the same time. She bumped into the guy in the same corner. Didn't matter if she spent 10 minutes in that room or 2 minutes in that room. She always everything happened exactly the same point.
Yeah, there was a couple times when it didn't. Like, for instance, when sometimes the roommate didn't come in the door, when he, knocked on the door. And that didn't always happen at the same time. So some of the things didn't. But, yeah, for the most part, I think you're right. I think they did, and it seems like maybe they shouldn't have happened at the same exact time. Donnie actually has an interesting point. He says, and it sounds like he owns this on Blu or DVD, and he says that special features on disc explain why they did not show her dead. He says her day started over right before she would die. So that makes sense. In that case, if that's what they're going for, maybe even a throwaway line about that might have gone a little ways to sort of like, assuage the feelings of the gorehounds, like, wow, why didn't they show that? And I think it would have been cool to maybe have some sort of reference to it, but I understand.
Well, it's not even that they didn't show her dead. It's that the shot was, at the start of the swipe rather than the end of the swipe. They didn't show the impact into her. It was where he started his swing with whatever weapon.
Yeah.
right, yeah. It would be like a POV of him with an axe or something, right?
Right.
But I mean, once again, I feel this is really a great movie for like young girls who want to start watching horrors. I think like Power 12 or something. I'd really be into this movie.
Yeah, it's like Fisher Price, my first horror.
Yeah, great. I'm not young, I'm not a girl, and I'm not starting to watch horror movies.
But at the same time, I feel like as me, who's been watching horror movies and again, I feel like this had quite a few, some really glaring ones, like references to, 80s movies and stuff like that, and slasher movies and the slasher genre in general. I agree with you guys 100%, but I also think it served two masters in the sense where I enjoyed seeing these things that, like, it's a 16-year-old may not catch, 16-year-old's probably not going to catch that, and I marked out big, that super overt visual reference to 16 Candles. You know what?
That actually annoyed me.
Because you don't have a heart.
I have a heart. It's black, but it's there.
Why don't you and Michael Raven Shadow go in another room? I'll put a cake in between you and sing "Century on."
So sometimes I think sometimes I prefer more nihilistic movies. I think when they're too kind of sugary sweet, they just kind of lose me. But this one, this movie was just kind of cute.
Well, it was cute.
I hate to
the sexy dicks were cute.
reduce it to that, but it was just kind of a cute movie, and I liked where it went. And it's not the typical the typical direction I want my horror movies to take. But for this character, this was a great arc, and I loved from where it started and where it finished. And that, I think, to me was kind of the hallmark of this. Is I was like, okay, well, I was along for the ride. I liked a lot of what happened, and I liked where she ended up.
I only have one major complaint about the whole thing, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the end, even more so than you end up thinking, I get pissed when this happens in slasher sequels, and I get pissed when it doesn't happen. But this was even more so what do you say to the fucking cops that you push somebody out a window?
Well, yeah, there was a couple.
She shouldn't have been in the diner at the end of that movie.
Right. Yeah. Should have been in this fucking stale clink Alcatraz.
And also, whatever before the last day, what she did to the killer,
right.
Or was it the last day? No, it was the last day. Yeah. I thought that whatever she had, because she basically held someone up.
Right.
How do you get out of that situation?
Right. Well, the ending could the ending could very easily be the start of a whole new day.
And, sure.
And we could get a sequel out of this. It's ripe for a sequel.
One other thing, no one has mentioned, and it's not really a spoiler because it didn't go in this direction. But did anyone think that Carter had anything to do with any of this?
I hope not.
Yeah,
I didn't think so.
That thought passed.
Oh, because there's one scene when she finally divulges and lets him know what happened. He's walking with her. They're walking kind of in the outside of the dorm room, and he's like, "Oh, I took a class on cognitive dreams or whatever." He mentioned something like that. And then when she says, "Yeah, I wake up every day. That it's the same day over and over," and he had this almost a smile on his face, like he had achieved something. Oh, that happened. Because then I rewound it, and I was like, "That's interesting." And because I was looking for who the killer was, and I just thought that was really interesting, and I wonder, I still wonder if he was somehow involved in why this happened.
I wondered the class that the professor guy was teaching.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was going to be something like he was teaching some sort of metaphysical blah blah blah, and somehow he would have been involved in that, and that didn't pan out either. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is interesting. I think there was enough red herrings to make this fairly interesting. I actually didn't like the direction they took the end. That's my only real issue with it, because I guess I was so into this sort of happy ending, and I was half expecting a twist, and the twist that I got wasn't quite. It didn't go all the way. If it was going to be a twist, I wanted it to be a Twilight Zone twist. And it didn't go all the way there. And I just thought that it was a twist for the sake of having one, and it just didn't really commit. I don't know. That's what kind of bugged me.
They're trying something
I kind of disagree.
Okay.
Because I feel like this film does what all good mysteries do. Is that they... it's really quite linear and quite simple who it is. There's certain things that the killer knows that they throw in your face a million times that no one else knows. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
sure,
So
sure.
you know what I mean? So like it has to be.
Well, I get that. I just thought it was like, and it made sense. I'm not saying it absolutely made sense, but I just thought it was a bit of a, just like, oh, that's it. That's
Well, I mean,
kinda lame.
it is hinted at up until a certain point where they flat out tell you.
right.
I don't want to spoil it, but they pretty much flat out tell you.
Yeah.
And
I knew the first time we saw that character.
yeah, oh no, I'm not arguing that point. Like I said, it wasn't. This was
On my slasher podcast, one of those, I feel like I'm having deja vu because one of those guys said that same thing, and they were all like, "Are you fucking sure? Like you're full of shit."
Really?
But like the same thing, like as soon as they said that they saw it when they saw that character in the fucking trailer,
Yeah.
they were like,
Oh,
"That's
really?
the killer."
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, and like everybody's like bullshit, but
Well, I don't know if
Really?
I buy into that. I'll have to watch the
Uh,
trailer because I mean, for reasons, not that I had any reason, not that I had any idea what the reason would be, but I caught on to that.
you're full of hate.
I'm not full of hate.
Alright.
Really, did you need that much redemption to know that she is a good person now?
I did. Q Buster. Aries hurt my feelings. We gotta get on with this list.
Oh.
Well, it looks like some people in the chat room were saying the stream stopped, but it seems to be going for me. So I don't know. Hopefully everyone can let us know if it's fine. But real quick in the chat room, and then we're going to go to the verdict. Mars, your buddy Keith is hanging out in the chat room.
Oh, how you doing, man?
And
Thank you very much for Snow blowing me out today.
Whoa! What?
Oh yeah.
Is that what you do on snow days?
Yeah,
Yeah, behind the boathouse.
folks. Unnecessary.
Leanna says that Aries is really getting into the grump tonight.
Tonight?
Have we met?
And Donnie says, yeah, many times she should have been detained by cops, hostage taking, threatening cops.
Well, I mean, granted, a lot of times she died before she would have been detained.
Yeah.
yeah.
The cop scene kind of annoyed me.
I did a jig in front of a policeman and he
Why?
almost fucking hauled me away, let alone put a knife on his head.
Why?
Well, because, I mean, obviously something's askew. She's wearing, she's wearing, hospital gown. But just tell the cop what was going on. Like,
Which
why?
time are you talking about?
Were you,
The pullover. The
When she
pullover.
was pulled
scene.
over.
Oh, the pulled over. Okay, I'm sorry.
That scene was pretty awesome.
Yeah, but you know
I'm
what?
wasted.
Yeah.
For all the cop knows, she's an escaped mental patient.
What's
or,
what I mean?
Or
Like-
she's in a sorority prank or something, you know?
But
Yeah.
you know what? You detain and then
you
figure it out.
Right.
Fair.
Yeah.
That scene was cool, though, that happened after, though. I did.
You know what? That was overkill.
Oh, jeez.
Literally.
Aries can't get to sleep.
All right, so
He
let's.
thinks about the car exploding.
No, not that.
Oh,
The whole literal overkill. I
she gets killed every night.
There's a
It's just
spoiler. I don't want to get into
overkill.
it.
I was a huge mark for those scenes. They make me
Day
smile.
after day.
You know what?
Aries
Off air.
dear,
All right, let's go
tell
to.
me off air.
Let's go to the verdict.
Trick or treat, baby. I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, verdict time. We're going to let you know whether this flick was a trick or a treat and any final thoughts we may have. Let's start with MZ.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I turned out to really enjoy this a whole lot more than I ever expected. And, yeah, you know what? The 15-year-old me really would have dug this as well because it does hold on to that whole 80s slasher vibe, and I do love the 80s slasher vibe. I thought the performances were really, really good. I can't say too much about the score or the soundtrack. I really wasn't paying too
I
much
actually
about
loved
that.
it. It was Bear McCreary did the score, and I thought it was great. That's actually one of the notes that I had. Last
Really?
note I had was
I wasn't
really
paying-
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I didn't pay too much attention to that, but
The thing I liked is each kill scene had a different score. Like it didn't
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed
Oh, yeah?
that too. Cool.
Yeah, and I was looking for it to see if they reused because I liked the music. The first time she died, that felt very like 80s slasher to me. And I was expecting to hear that music over and over because, like you get themes in music where, like, for instance, like Darth Vader has his theme and, Princess Leia has their theme and whatever. So I thought that was going to be like kind of the kill theme. But then each time she died, it was like different music, which I thought was interesting.
Okay, cool. But this was an enjoyable flick, and title aside, this was enjoyable. Yeah, this is a treat. I enjoyed it. I'll watch it again.
All right, let's hear from Aries.
You know what? I mean, I have many issues with this. I found it very predictable. I'm way too old to be watching this type of movie.
Way too old.
Those damn talkies are gonna ruin pictures.
Like, you know what? If I was a 15-year-old prepubescent girl, maybe this would have been right up my alley.
The next life, Aries.
The next life.
Yep.
We can all dream.
We can all hope.
I mean, all in all, I found it predictable, but maybe that's just years of watching these type of movies. But you know what? I don't even want to give a response.
Is it
Really?
wow?
Because it's like a
It's not going to out you. People are going to think differently.
no,
about you
because
like
it really is a mixed bag. Like there are reasons I think this movie is good, and there's reasons I think this movie is bad.
If you were a 15-year-old girl, Chris Hansen would bust in here like Kool-Aid Man, though.
Who's Chris Hansen?
From Dateline NBC.
To catch a predator.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
Oh no!
Just have a seat over there.
Cameras.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing a podcast. We have a weekly. We drop on iTunes. Let me go.
I feel like I'm missing part of the joke here.
It's good. You say, here's some condoms.
Oh my god.
And some wine.
Okay, you know what? It just as I sit here right now, this is a trick.
All right.
How about at home? What was it last night?
Yeah, what was the last
At home, he loves it, but out in public,
But
he
sitting
hates
here,
it.
he hates it.
If Monster Zero had given you at least one more example, would it have been a treat?
It might have been.
Oh, see?
Yeah, let's say you had
Oh, yeah.
plenty of time to think.
You had half hour.
Anything? Anything?
I've been talking about this movie.
There's millions, folks, but he can only think of one. Raven Shadow.
All right. I like Scott Lobdell's comic work. I like that it was an hour and a half. It's probably my second favorite film we've watched this year.
We've only seen 3.
How does it matter? No, I mean, I guess when I saw PG-13, I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know, not that things need to be R-rated or R or shit like that.
R or R-rated.
But
Is the Sexy Speakeasy rated R or rated PG-13?
it's like ain't fucking PG-13. I'll tell you that much. NC-17.
It's for pirates. It's rated R.
Yeah. Rated ugh. But I didn't completely look at my phone the whole time during this.
That's his fucking barometer.
No, I mean, at one hand, like, all right, it could have been.
look at my phone.
I can't wait till that's on the box. I didn't completely look at my phone this time. Michael Raven Shadow, Trick or Treat Radio.
I wasn't on Facebook during this movie. Michael
I
Raven
only
Show,
checked
Trick or
Facebook
Treat
once.
Radio.
Yeah.
Happy Death Days, the movie the critics are clamoring about. If I was a 15-year-old prepubescent girl, I would have loved this movie. The title of this is terrible. I didn't look at my phone hardly at all.
We're effusive in our praise.
The sad thing is that last review probably would get people to watch the movie.
Yeah, seriously.
I hardly looked at my
for
phone.
the target audience,
Wow.
yeah.
We'll see it on Facebook.
This is a good one.
I only tweeted twice.
However, there was something about this. You know what I mean? That kind of. I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily a treat for me, but it's a treat for somebody.
What the fuck is happening with this show?
And
Are you guys afraid to say you fucking like this movie? That's what I feel like I'm getting here.
I agree.
Yeah.
Just fucking say it.
Just say you like it.
I'm getting there.
MZ liked it.
He's got fucking problems.
Chris
you heard him?
Hansen didn't come through the door.
No, but they're college girls, for Christ's sake.
Who's that?
You do know you're an old man, right?
I know I'm 46, and I know that a 46-year-old can date an 18-year-old.
Oh. Not that they ever would date you, but
You don't need
No,
parents' consent
no.
or nothing.
Officers, that was Monster Zero.
Evidence.
Shit.
That's ZERO.
Come on. Will you just come out with it already?
Yeah, say it.
Jesus.
Spit it out.
All right. It's pretty much a treat. A treat.
What the fuck?
Oh, Creepy Girl says you hit the nail on the head, Wolfie.
Yeah, I didn't.
God. It's
As
like pulling teeth.
No shit. All
As
right.
an aside, I didn't date any 18-year-olds when I was 18.
Go ahead, Mars.
No, I fucking love this movie. I really did. I think. I'm gonna
Chris
buy it.
Hansen didn't come through the door
Well,
yet.
yeah.
Wait
Totally.
outside.
But I really dug this movie, and I think that I don't know. I mean, I always joke that I'm a 13-year-old goth girl on the inside, so maybe that's who it was speaking to. But Tiny said it's because I devoured one once. But I think that I don't know. Like, I have no complaints about this movie. Like, I know a lot of people hated it. I know a lot of people rejected it. But for me, I feel like
And some were on the fence and couldn't admit liking it because they thought they're going to.
Wait, you got no complaints about this movie?
No,
I said my complaints out loud, but they
You
didn't.
just said you have no complaints about this movie.
Yeah, I don't have very many anyway. So I was, I told you what my one kind of complaint was, and that was really it. But
Aries
nothing,
is complaining there's no
Wow.
boobs.
but nothing.
Yeah, that's my complaint about every movie without boobs.
Nothing.
you do realize you have the internet in your phone, right?
But it takes the fun out of it.
The dude has a steam-powered iPod in his car, and you want him to go.
Hey.
Hold on, let Wendy talk.
Thank you.
It's more fun to have surprise boobs.
Exactly! Exactly!
Last week, Wendy.
It's more fun to have boobs in the context of things. Like, yay, I'm enjoying this thing. Oh, look, boobs made it better. You know?
Thank you.
I really like Wendy.
She explained it way better than you ever could.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We need Wendy to be a translator for Aries at all times. I hope you have your Wednesdays free, Wendy.
Yeah. Listen, once I hit 40, I got surprise boobs every single time I took off my shirt. So.
Wait. It's like, does that come around again?
Surprise
Well,
boobs.
The 40? Like, once you hit 100, you start over? Is that what you're doing?
No, 40 double D.
Yeah, no.
Once you got like the double boobs, you start looking like a dog with all the nipples or something. It's just like layers and layers of boob.
Is that what it's like when you take your shirt off, Mars?
This movie is a treat.
All right, let's kick it over to Wendy and get her verdict.
Yeah, I'd say it was a treat. You know, I mean, I'm glad that there was a movie that was smart and clever enough like this, but also kind of good-natured. You know, once again, it's like every movie doesn't have to be aimed directly at my very specific demographic, you know? So I'm really glad that this exists. It was a treat.
Awesome. And I also really enjoyed this, and I think it has a good sort of through line. Stop running from your problems, face them head on, and hopefully you'll be able to grow and advance as a person. And I think that is probably advice that most people can use. And you know, I just like that this had sort of a good message to go along with it. And I think that the only thing I think the end did keep me from absolutely loving this movie. I just had some issues with it. That's all. And that's probably just what I wanted out of it. It didn't give me what I wanted. So that's a personal issue that I have with the movie, because I liked the direction it was heading, and then it sort of did a little something different. So, and I guess a part of me wanted an explanation for why this kept happening, but then at the end, I'm glad. Yeah, I was going to say I'm glad that there wasn't, because it just would have muddled it a little bit. And
that'll all be in the sequel.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact, I mean, you could get a shitload of sequels out of this simply because there is no explanation given. As soon as an explanation is given, there's going to be a cure for that. And since there is no explanation,
then it's all midichlorians.
Yes.
Thank you.
No.
So that works perfectly. And you can't really say that about every film. I mean, this one pulls it off.
I never understood why Star Wars fans hated germ-free pools.
That's midichlorine.
Oh, sorry.
All right, so we had mostly treats. We had was it one trick? Yeah, one trick. Raven Shadow was a little on the fence.
Yeah,
but
temperature.
You're in good company here, Raven Shadow. Everyone else liked it.
Stockholm
Okay?
syndrome
If I could just add one little side note.
One caveat.
The Mrs. was present when I watched this.
Okay.
And when it got done, she looked at me and asked me if I was going to kill someone for making me watch this movie.
Yes, it's not an Aries movie.
So she knew, without me even saying one word, that this was not my movie and someone was risking death.
So the fact that you didn't kill someone is a good sign.
Yes.
I didn't kill anybody.
Yeah, that's on the box.
It's on the box.
The movie that Aries God of War proclaimed, I didn't kill anyone.
Did the missus like it?
No, she hated it too.
Oh, okay.
But she knew right away that someone was risking death for making me sit through that.
Probably grunting the whole time. Aries, hey.
And you know what? I didn't pick up my phone once.
Man. Good thing she didn't sit when we had to watch Evolution.
Creepy Girl says, yeah, you guys finally liked one I thought you would like. It's about time, right?
Yeah. Surprisingly.
First time Mike says, this is for the box art. I didn't fix me a snack during the movie. And Creepy Girl says, only 1 million complaints.
No boobs, but I liked it anyway.
Creepy Girl also said bologna gumdrops.
Yes.
Oh, that's a callback to MZ's
Hey
nipples.
there.
That's a nipple reference.
And Donnie says, I would love a sequel following another character, maybe the girl always studying outside their house. Maybe like it falls.
That poor girl.
Yeah, I know, right? Her only lething was to listen to her headphones and say hi.
Yeah, I was looking at her. I was looking at her IMDb. This is her only film credit, and her name is Tran.
All right.
Well, I think she's Asian. People are different.
Tran, the acting man.
Jesus Christ. All right, I think that's now time for a break. So we're going to do a quick break here. We're going to come back, and then Dynamo and Wendy are going to give their top 13 comics. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Do you love a scary story? Do you love to dance? The Big Scary Monster Haunts at Midnight is a collection of dark songs about sex, love, death, revenge, and the end of the world. Brought to you by the world's greatest monster hunting electroshock band, the Deadites.
I'm Alex West.
And I'm Andrea Subasati, and we're from the Faculty of Horror podcast.
And you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
I'm Mike Allred. For the gidgiest listening experience, you gotta check out Trick or Treat Radio.
You go through your week with the same old routine.
What you really want is some blood and thunder in your life.
Well, friend, you found it.
The Cromcast is an adventurous journey through the history of two-fisted pulp stories.
With your hosts, John,
Josh,
and Luke.
We have action,
horror,
and adventure, all through the lens of pulp luminary Robert E. Howard.
Don't just stay in your ordinary life.
Find your pulp life at thecromcast.blogspot.com.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
A podcast for the barbarian at heart.
We're back with Trick or Treat Radio. All right, Mars, it is that time. Also, we didn't mention what movie we're doing next week because it's a little up in the air. because we're not sure of the format of next week's show. Next week is technically a Wednesday Night Wars, but we're not sure if we're doing it yet. So that's why I wouldn't want to name what we're doing. We will announce on social media, though, when we find out. Hopefully in the next day or two, we'll know whether we're doing Wednesday Night Wars or we're doing just a regular show. So we'll let you guys know. But keep an ear out for that, and then you can find out what flick we're doing next week. So, all right, Mars, let's go ahead and introduce this segment. I want to make sure we get through before Wendy has to leave.
So one thing that we did do, I don't remember if we did it last year, but we did do it the first year we did it. If by coincidence, because our lists actually turned out to be fairly different, I think, we someone mentions a book that is on someone else's list earlier, like later on, we should just say that, oh, that's on my list later on.
Yeah, talk about it.
And then we should talk about it that
The
time.
later one, yeah.
Okay.
Does that sound, is that cool?
That works. That works for me.
And you, being our guest, why don't you start us with number 13?
All right, with number 13, I'm going to go with the DC Looney Tunes crossover issues. Did you read any of those that came out this summer? They were surprisingly, like, really good.
That's
like,
what I
there's the Jonah Hex Yosemite Sam one. And yeah, like they did a bunch of these ones where it was oh gosh, I forget who the Batman Bugs Bunny one or whatever, but they're actually like legitimately enjoyable.
Yeah,
So
I did read some of the Hanna-Barbera ones.
Yeah.
And
Did you read the Flintstones? Have you read that?
No, I read the one that I read the most recently was Suicide. I in a bag of comics I had bought. I impulsively bought Suicide Squad and Banana Splits, and that was an acid trip.
But legitimately, the Flintstones is a dark book. It's really good. Yes, yeah. Like it deals with a lot of like animal rights issues with their appliances and like the belief in like if there's really a god or like if prehistoric men believe in God. Like it's really it goes into some weird dark places.
I'm waiting for some of those to be collected in like individual things. So
yeah, it's completely collected. It's all done now. It's completely collected. Yeah, I've been reading a lot of comics lately on the library, like my library app, like Hoopla.
Oh,
It's
nice.
Yeah, and so like I've been reading a ton of things that are brand new through my library app, and it's very exciting.
That's awesome.
So go on, you're 13.
My 13 is one that will probably make Michael Ravenshadow. For some reason, I feel like characters like this really bother him, and I was indifferent to the character upon her creation, but something about this book as a number one made me pick it up, and it reminded me of other. It's just like a cool. It's the most like sort of like I can't describe the subgenre, but it reminded me of books like Manhunter and Blue Beetle and like almost like one of those, not as much of a Marvel book, but one of those like kind of second to third tier DC character books. And that said, they also, one thing I love about this book is that they are just off center a little bit in their storytelling. Like they don't, like at face value, they're still villains doing very maniacal things, but there's something a little bit more twisted about some of the things that the villains do, and the way they manipulate this character's powers, which have been kind of shared with a more iconic character, and not they haven't done as much with it. But the book I am citing is Marvel Comics' All New Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
I really dig that book.
All right, cool. So we've gone through number 13. Let's hear Wendy's number 12.
My number 12 is, there's only been like 2 issues of it so far, so I put it further down the list. Maestros by Steve Skroce.
Interesting.
S-K-R, how do you pronounce it? S-K-R-O-C-E.
It's it's next to Fabian Nigel on the list of people whose names I don't know how to say.
Yeah. But Maestros, it's an image book, and it's sort of like this intergalactic royal space opera type thing. But the artwork and the layouts are bonkers. Like, it's really gorgeous, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So, Maestros from Image and
Exciting.
Steve Skroce.
I'm just looking at the cover art. It looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Maestros.
My number 11 is a book that if you had kind of laid it out for me, what the
Wait, this is 12.
Oh, my number 12 is. Oh, I almost skipped 12 again.
It happens inevitably.
This is a book that when it came out, there was only one issue of it when we did our list last year, so it didn't make the list. And when it came out, when it got in full swing, I thought it was going to be my favorite book of the year. I heralded it as a return to greatness for this character. But while I really liked the second storyline, it sort of fell off a little bit for me. It wasn't as iconic, I felt like. And that's All-Star Batman, written by Scott Snyder with what was supposed to be, I think it's kiboshed now, but was kind of supposed to be almost like a rekindling of the Legends of the Dark Knight theory series. It had two great stories featuring two of Batman's most iconic villains kind of presented in a way that they hadn't been yet, and I really liked it.
All right, so for my number 12, I'm going to go with Four Kids Walk Into a Bank by Matthew Rosenberg.
I've never heard of it.
And it's really good. It's about it's kind of like a weird Quentin Tarantino meets coming of age heist story about these kids and their parents are plotting this heist and they realize that the only way they can save their parents is if they rob the bank first.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's put up by Black Mask. I thought that was a really good book. Yeah.
I do have one quick amendment that I was for some reason going to wait to the end, but people were paying attention year to year what was on my list. But one thing that was on my list, holy shit, the title of the book just fucking escaped me. It was I'm going to have to go back to the statement because the title of the book fucking is escaping me. I'm so embarrassed right now, and it's been on my list every other year. Killing about the kids going to the assassin school.
Deadly Class.
Deadly Class, yeah.
Deadly Class is fantastic every year.
Yeah, so Deadly Class is awesome, but it's one of the few books that I got from both my mail order and my brick and mortar store. But for whatever reason, something must have happened with the Diamond Code, so it didn't get put on my pull list when it came out again. And for whatever reason, they didn't give it to me at the brick and mortar store, so it had been coming out for quite a while before I knew it was even coming out again. And I got a little discouraged, and then was going to get it in trade. And
so, Mars, is that your number 11, or
no,
is that just not?
It's not on my list.
Okay.
But and again, I don't even know why I thought it was important for me to mention it. But my number 11 is a book by a writer who I enjoy as a writer, but I would say I am mostly indifferent to as a musician. And I don't think I would have, I think if I had heard anything about this book, I would have disliked it because it just kind of sounds like fan fiction. But being a fan of Grant Morrison's iteration of Doom Patrol, I really liked this new iteration of Doom Patrol where they kind of very metally, brought back kind of all these characters.
Yeah, I like Gerard Way.
Yeah.
I have no beef with him.
I love Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, exactly. I love Umbrella Academy. I liked what was that one that was based on that last album they did, that Danger Days album?
I don't remember. I didn't know that they did something that was so tied into some music that they did. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, it was very much about whatever that world they had been creating.
Is that why he has a Funko Pop?
Yeah. I mean, he's got a Funko Pop because, I guess girls like him, they're popular dudes, I don't know. But
now, if you were a 13-year-old girl, that's a band you'd like.
Yes, exactly. As a woman, I can't so much, but if I were 13, I'd be super into them.
Sure. I mean, I'm glad they exist. It's important that, for the grand scheme of things that, Alkaline Trio has in the same way that they have an inept older brother in Blink-182, it's important they have an impressionable eyeliner wearing little brother in that band. So
about Gerard Way as a person, I like him. He's really into Grant Morrison. He's really into cool stuff. So I mean,
sure.
I feel like we'd be buddies. We'd all be buddies.
Yeah, no.
But I just don't like that band.
I dig it. Yeah. I think this is your number 10. Yep. Am I right?
Is it my 10 or my 11?
We're on to 10 now.
Okay, 10. Okay, I'm going to go with Redneck by Donny Cates and Alessandro Esterin. which is like it's a Image comic. It's like this very Texas Southern Gothic vampire story. Awesome. And yeah, it's a good book. I say go and check that out.
That sounds like it's right down your alley, Dynamo.
True.
You know, they have a barbecue joint. It's a good book. It's entertaining especially if you're into that sort of like, you know, redneck horror aesthetic. It's very enjoyable for that. All right. So what's your 10?
My 10 is something which I think the future of this book is in doubt now because its writer, I guess, jumped ship almost unprecedentedly. But I think Brian Michael Bendis' Defenders is the biggest no-brainer. Like there's no way this book could be bad. He's doing a team book, which I think he's as good at as anybody doing books. He's dealing with characters that if he didn't create them, he may have redefined them in certain ways. And he also has a reverence for not just classic books, but contemporary books. So when he throws in a character like Deadpool, like it's not, it's not handled differently. Like that is Deadpool. So I really dig it. It's a good book. I'm in there, drawing upon the history of the Power Man character in a way, and I love these street level characters, and I love how they're subtly, in a way that nobody seemed to have I haven't seen any press pick up on, keeping the Defenders theme by having every book, or not even every book, but they're having other heroes that aren't really on the Defenders team come in. Like Elektra shows up in a book, and Deadpool, Jessica Jones hires Deadpool to try to help him out, and Punisher, is kind of skulking around in the shadows. And there's a very typical Brian Michael Bendis, Damien Hellstrom, Jessica Jones,
Damien Hellstrom,
ex-boyfriend,
the wrestler,
yeah, ex-boyfriend joke. So yeah, no, I really like it. It's great. It's another book that in another year this might have been higher, but there was like a lot of books that kind of I felt like were directly aimed at me, as you'll hear me talk about shortly.
He got sick, huh? He came close. He was pretty bad.
Who?
Bendis.
I didn't know that.
He got
gosh, he had like a
Mercer, right?
Or something. He had like some sort of terrible infection, and it got into his eyes.
Wow.
Yeah, he was blind for a few days.
That's terrible. I had no idea.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Very, very sad. Very, very out of nowhere. So.
Was it Alex Alfonso there, or whatever his name is, fault?
Yes.
Pardon?
Was it Alex Alfonso or whatever his name is, fault?
Axel Alonso.
Yeah.
Alonzo Mosley, FBI.
Yeah. You're not leaving.
All right, let's get Wendy's number 9.
Number 9, I'm going with Slots by Dan Panosian, which is totally just a really awesome sort of crime comic about this washed-up old boxer who returns to his home turf in Vegas and has to, deal with, wrap up some problems and stuff in Vegas, and there's, a sexy burlesque dancer character, and he has to deal with his son who's, an MMA guy, and it's totally right up my sort of hard-boiled alley.
Very cool.
Slots.
Are you familiar with this one, Raven Shadow? Seen this around the shop?
There's a joke there, but no. I have seen it.
Yeah.
I'm not ready yet, though.
All right, Mars, number 9.
So I'm realizing as I look at this is my most. And went back and looked at my old list. This is my most top 40 list yet, I think.
You're selling out.
Yeah, I am kind of. I don't know how this happened. This next book teams characters I love with mythology I love from another book, and then characters I like from yet another book still, and that is the 6-issue Apollo and Midnighter miniseries, where the villains were plucked right out of the Garth Ennis's Hitman book. And, it's a cool book about Apollo being in hell, and Midnighter having to help him. And it's got some other cool, esoteric DC villains in it that are right up my alley. And it's fucking cute. It's probably the Apollo and Midnighter in this particular writer's hands, from the Midnighter series to the Grayson
Was this Steve Orlando or
Yep.
who's doing this?
Yep,
I love him.
Yeah, this is the best romance since Peter Parker and Mary Jane, like with the way that it's handled.
Yeah.
I think this is the most believable romance probably in comics, and it has a nice. If they never go back to these 52 era versions of these characters, then it's a nice bow on the gift. But it's the Mauser. Is that how you say his name? The multi-armed Nazi demon from Hitman.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Just real quick in the chat room, Liana says, "Look at MZ's face," and then Donnie says, "Waiting for him to take a nap like Ares."
Well, MZ doesn't like I don't know. MZ barely shows respect for the chat room, let alone when it's people.
Oh, listen to you.
This is the person who talks shit
you
about
talk
people
shit
in the
about
chat
people
room.
from the chat room all the time.
Yeah, well, that's
All
because
right,
I
well-
don't like anybody, but at least I fucking am not staring at my phone the whole time.
All right, well,
No, you're not staring at your phone, aren't
I
you?
have my fucking list on it, you fucking
Yeah,
jabroni.
and what's this for?
The chat room is open, you asshole. You can look at it.
So?
at least
Interacting with the chat.
you have a phone. And you didn't even look up one of the million fucking movies.
Fucking reasons.
Yeah.
All right, you were showing me a boat crash.
Yes, I was.
Look at this fucking guy. You have no fucking legs to stand on.
Stand on again.
Yeah, crazy.
This is like the time you told me I don't
crazy
have
legs
anything
to-
going on.
No legs to stand on regarding
You got
to
crazy
what?
legs.
Yeah.
Regarding to what?
Because you just talking about him looking at his phone.
Yeah.
You're looking at your phone. He's looking at his list, you idiot.
Yeah.
You're looking at fucking boats crashing.
And the problem is,
Or porn. You look at
I'm not looking at porn.
No, normally you are. You look
No.
at stupid shit.
What am I supposed to do?
Interact with the
Yeah,
show.
interact.
I
Be
interact all the time,
interested.
but I'm not going to interact on something I don't know anything about.
Well, then how do you ever talk?
Oh,
Okay. While they're talking, I want you to think of 2 more movies where the titles
Yeah,
changed.
look
I got
it up.
2 more movies hanging.
Look it up.
I'm
you
doing
can
that
look
right
it up.
now. I'm doing
2
no
while
research.
you're sitting here doing
Yeah,
nothing.
2 more. You can look it up. All right. I'm sorry about that, Wendy. Let's get to number 8.
Okay, so my number 8 is a book called Old Guard by Greg Rucka and Leandro Fernandez. And it's this book about sort of like different soldiers from different wars who are immortal and all sort of have to fight together. So it's like you got people from like the Peloponnese War and modern day soldiers, like all these different people. And it's like they just kind of live to fight and they can't die.
Wow. That sounds really cool.
This sounds
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, and I love Greg Rucka. I think Batwoman. He's done so many.
yeah.
good
Yeah, he's the
books.
best.
great.
I have a soft spot for Immortals. So.
You just one thing I've noticed, Wendy. You have a lot of Image stuff. They've been putting out some great stuff.
They are so fucking good.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they put out a lot. They put out so much different stuff.
Well, I
that
guess it's-
probably that's why I was reading the majority of this.
Yeah, I guess it's all the creator-owned stuff. I mean, there's so much freedom there, so I guess it makes sense.
Well, who saw it coming? I mean, if anyone checks out the Robert Kirkman specials they did on AMC,
Yeah.
they did a great one on Image, which I highly recommend because it does involve at one point the entire Image creators about to getting together clandestine in a hotel room to fire Rob Liefeld.
Yeah,
And he gets wind of it, and he rents the hotel next door
Yep,
to him,
yep.
and looking underneath, trying to fucking. It fascinates me.
Man, bless Rob Liefeld. God bless Rob Liefeld. Like, I don't care what you think of his feet or his art or whatever. I feel like he's just such a character. He's just such a.
He really is. Yeah.
He really owns who he is.
I enjoy him as a writer.
Yeah, I think he's a good-natured dude who loves comics.
I
That's
would love
what I
to-
like him for.
I'd love to have a beer with him and talk Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, who would have thought that in the pouches and ponytails of Image's creation that they would be the joint for writers?
I got one for you. Who'd have thought if you looked at all those launch titles and how much hype was behind them, that Savage Dragon would still be like poking along with the same number?
Oh my God! Can we talk about the crazy sex in Savage Dragon?
Please.
Are you fucking aware of what they're getting away with in Savage Dragon?
No.
No. What issues?
Oh God! So I've been reading about it, and I haven't gotten the whole issue because they can't sell it on Comixology because it's too X-rated.
Are you serious?
Wow.
I'm serious. It's like crazy dragon orgy, fucking dragon jizz shit going on like every issue now. Apparently.
Well, that's the episode
That's the
title.
episode title, yeah. Crazy Dragon Jizz behind the boathouse.
Oh shit, Mars, what's your 8?
This is another book that
Savage Dragon.
I think by
Savage
saying
Dragon
this,
8 through
Raven
1.
Shadow's gonna know what it is.
Guys, here we go, guys. 225. Savage Dragon 225 is bagged and had to go with a paper cover.
Wow.
Really?
You want to make a note of that?
Yeah. By saying this, Raven Shadow is going to know what this book is, and I think my friends know my fandom of the classic stuff. But from the '90s on, I feel like everyone in this room could say they would not think they would ever hear me utter this title in one of my top 13 lists. But this book breaks away from the kind of real tight corner of the universe these titles usually exist in, and are bringing in villains that I love, like the fucking Circus of Crime and the Serpent Society and the Wrecking Crew and all this other stuff going on. Armadillo, and they're creating. They've brought back a version of Scourge, and there's still all this other great stuff going on. And I read all the relaunches of these titles, and this was the only one I kept, and I love this. It feels like New Warriors. It feels like West Coast Avengers. It feels like the fun Marvel team books that I grew up reading. It feels a little bit like Justice League International and some of the kind of the way the relationships are center stage at times.
Can I guess?
Yep.
X-Men Gold?
Correct. Yeah. Yep. I really love this book, and I thought, not only did I think my days of collecting X-Men were over, I was getting to live through the satisfaction of Avengers, which I've collected forever, being the X-Men of this era. And but I really do dig this X-Men Gold book. I'm about 4 issues behind, but it comes out every fucking day seemingly. So,
is that Ken Lashley? Is Ken Lashley doing the art on that?
I think so. I can't. I'll have to look it up. It's funny. He's kind of a bit of a chameleon because sometimes the art looks a lot like what's been going on in the last few years in the X-Men, but he definitely has some sort of Bagley kind of buried in him, like it's very interesting. I really love it.
Well, to be fair, the original artist kind of screwed the pooch on his career. And his future.
That would have made this book, unfortunately,
that was
even
that guy.
better.
Yeah.
Wait. Who is the original artist?
I don't know his name, but you hear about that? How the first issue he was very
that guy.
Yeah.
Was it the anti-Semitic stuff?
Yeah. He threw his career away.
Yeah.
And good. I'm glad because that's the type of shit that I feel like the comic industry pre-internet would have kind of turned that back on, because that guy would have moved some units, as the quality of his art, because he was kind of a throwback in a way, like he was kind of like a little bit Bernie, a little bit Perez-y, some Bowen. Like he definitely had his own style, but like it was definitely like a kind of a statement book,
Well, it's funny you mentioned. I almost grabbed the annual because it had featured a reunion of the original Excalibur.
With
Captain Britain and Megan. They have a kid, and I was a huge mark for the Alan Davis Claremont run.
Again, this book is kind of doing the fan fiction thing too, and a lot of people don't like that, but I do like it because I feel like I want to know why some of those Excalibur relationships never panned out, and I want to see Peter and Kitty work through this shit, because they were my Joni and Chachi of the day. You know what I mean? So I love that book, but definitely don't let the X-Men. If you're a fan of New Warriors, if you're
don't
a fan
sleep
of stuff,
on the X-Men.
Yeah, like pick up. You can you with the exception of 1-2 issue crossover, you can get into this book and just enjoy this book.
Awesome. That was number 8. Okay, number 7, Wendy.
Okay, may I go back to Savage Dragon for a moment and
Yes.
read you a description?
Please.
Let me read you a description of something that happened in a recent issue.
All right. Do we need to brace ourselves?
Yes.
Okay.
In this issue, Savage Dragon came so hard inside a girl that the sperm fountain shot her all the way across the room, and she landed in a way that the sperm from her vagina dripped straight into her mouth.
Oh my
And then
God.
she and Savage Dragon kissed and swapped the sperm.
Get the fuck out of here!
No way!
You can't print that.
That's some fan fiction.
What?
I could relate to that up until the last part.
Yep, I've done that. I ain't fucking do that.
just changed his name to Snowballing Dragon.
Oh, the Savage Snowball.
That happens in the sexy speakeasy almost every night, isn't it, Raven?
Yeah, one time that happened.
Holy shit! I can't believe that.
Revised my entire list so that 1 through 10 is all just Savage Dragon.
Yeah, if it comes to a point where you need to run, just say Savage Dragon 5 through 1 or whatever.
I gotta run, Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 7 is Judge Dredd, Blessed Earth.
Oh.
By Ulysses Farinas. And it's basically just like Old Man Logan with Judge Dredd. It's Old Man Dredd in like super post-apocalyptic Cursed Earth. So I like that a lot.
Interesting. That sounds pretty cool. Have you any of you guys read that?
No, I haven't.
No, that sounds cool.
You don't need to read any other Judge Dredds to understand it. You don't need to read any of the 2000 AD stuff. Like, it's just its own nice little standalone story.
Nice. Okay.
So.
Very cool. All right, Mars, number 7.
I was every once in a while someone will revise a character and I'll kind of fucking actually this is a conversation Wendy and I have had since we've met. Someone will revise a character and I'll be pissed off because I just want that fucking character. I don't need it. And Kyrie Andrews' great reinvention of this character actually was an outlier in the sense that I did enjoy that iteration. But man, I can't tell you how fucking happy I was to have my Canon Films Iron Fist back. Fighting in tournaments, fighting no-arm dudes. Like, I was just fucking stoked, like, to have Bloodsport Danny Rand back. So, Bloodsport Matt Riddle. But, I really loved Iron Fist. I highly recommend it, and it's good business.
Awesome. All right, number 6, Wendy.
My number 6 is Punisher the Platoon.
Okay.
Which is just the Punisher in Vietnam.
That just got cut off my list.
Yeah, and that's all I want. I just want to read Vietnam stories, so it's fun.
It's great.
With Frank Castle, yeah, I could see that.
I'm so wishing somebody puts out a big collection of the Nam.
Yeah.
I told you, like, maybe I didn't tell you, but yeah, like last year that was my big reread. Was I read for the first time? I found like a collection of all the issues, and so I read that recently, and then I read the Marines spin-off, which was Semper Fi.
Yep.
And that was only like 9 issues, and that was fantastic too. And I loved it.
Yeah, it's a great book.
The Marvel one from the 80s?
Yep.
Yeah, that was great. I would get that sporadically. I always felt very grown up getting that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then my favorite thing in the back, my favorite thing in the world is like the letters columns where vets would write in and they'd be like, "You got this gun wrong," or "You got that." Like, people would write in, they'd be like, "You got this platoon's insignia wrong," and "You got this wrong." And meanwhile, the writer would be like, "No, I was there. That's actually what it was."
Yeah, was that Larry Hama too?
Yeah, Larry Hama. He was an editor on it. He did some of it. I forget who the main writer was on a lot of it, but yeah, like Larry Hama's awesome. I love him.
And Michael Golden artwork was great.
Came this close to working with Larry Hama. This close.
Yeah.
Really, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I think he realized that the people that we were working for were crazy assholes a few months before I did, so I never got to meet him. But
All right, Mars, is it number 6?
well, I don't know because I'm just going in order because my fucking phone did something weird with my number.
Was that the one did you just give Wendy with 6?
Yeah, I just gave 6.
Okay,
yes.
great.
According to my phone, this is number 3, which it's not.
All right, well, it's number 6.
This book would probably be higher if it was more than halfway through its run. But I fucking love this book, even though I something about it keeps me a little bit at arm's reach because I don't know what's fucking going on. But this is just fucking brilliant art, brilliant story. Something so simple, I can't believe they didn't do it before. It's kind of like the underwritten thing about all these characters, and that's Batman White Knight.
That's on my list.
Yeah.
That's on my list.
Okay.
And it's my number 5.
Nice, good,
All right,
awesome.
well,
So
there you
we
go. It's the next one.
So yeah,
So you guys can talk about it. Is there anything else to say, Wendy, about it?
Just Sean Gordon Murphy is so awesome. I love his artwork so much. I just think it's it's a cool take. It's a cool twist on it, and it's nice to look at. And I can't wait to see where it's going.
great layouts.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, very cool. Mars, now you're up again. You're number 5.
I mentioned the Canon films before.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, like even like there has not been an iteration of this character, no matter how fucking ridiculous they made them, that I didn't at least buy. I might not have loved them all. and you guys can help me out with her name because I'm going to say it wrong, but
Alex DeCampi.
No. Though she's coming. Becky Cloonan.
Becky Cloonan.
Yeah. Brought me my fucking Canon Films Punisher. This fucking motorcycle chases, and like it's like a full-out action movie. It's not a superhero movie where, you know, Frank loses his gun and then gets it and finishes the villain off. You know what I mean? Like this is a fucking full-out action movie with like fucking multiple set pieces, globe-trotting, car chases, fucking helicopter fights. Like the end fight is on a fucking ice block from a glacier that floats away and is floating in the middle of the ocean. It looks like something straight out of a fucking Arnold movie. A lot of people are psyched about this new direction that the book is taking, but I've never been this heartbroken in a long time to see a writer take it off the book. And
she's taken off?
Yes, they have a new person is writing it now because it's somehow going to be tied into what's going on with Iron Man and stuff like that.
That sucks.
Yeah. But
is it as good as Punisher Max? Is like that era?
I like it more because it's more. That's more like a really that book is really like kind of cracking open my id. It's violent and goes as far as 13-year-old me always kind of fantasized it could go.
Right. Yes,
but this is almost the Punisher I didn't know I wanted because I've always been so satisfied with the Punisher. Like there's a lot of fucking Frank riding around on a motorcycle while people are like trying to hit him with like nightsticks and stuff like that. Like on motorcycles and like doing jumps over shit while it's blowing up, and it's like just like I guess her run on Conan was very satisfying in a similar way too. But I love this. It was just like a great full-out action movie with like all the cool stuff that you would expect from like an action movie, and like there's a fucking fight on a boat, there's sharks, like you name it, everything that you'd fucking want from one of these fucking Arnold movies you get.
It's almost like The Fate and the Furious.
I only really know Becky Cloonan like as an artist, you know, and I loved like you've seen those little mini comics that she did, like there was like the Viking story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like everything. She's a phenomenal artist. So I haven't read this Punisher yet, but I look forward to it.
I think you'd love it. What was her image breakaway? It wasn't Southern Bastards, was it?
No, it was.
It was one of the ones around that time though, and I didn't know she was affiliated with it, and like because she was just one of those things where it was totally under the radar and came in this Punisher book, and I was just like fucking blown
Southern
away.
Cross.
Southern Cross, right, that's what it is. Yeah.
Mm.
And she did Gotham Academy, I think. Yeah, she's done a bunch of stuff. So
yeah,
she's been around. I just was
cool.
Didn't know.
You were raving about the Punisher book, so I'm curious. I'll have to definitely check that out.
Yeah, I love it.
So, Wendy, I know we're getting close to the end here. Do you want to blow through the list, or do you want to just hang on and do the rest of the four?
I'll hang on. Hang on. We've only got a couple more.
Okay, great. So
good.
Let's hear your number 4.
My number 4, I suppose it counts. I think it had like one issue in this year, and the second issue came out recently. Is X-Men Grand Design by Ed Piskor.
Oh yeah, well I want to check that out.
Ridiculous! It's ridiculous. So Ed Piskor has taken. He did Hip Hop Family Tree. If you ever read Hip Hop Family Tree, and so he has taken every single X-Men plot point and put them all in chronological order. So it's literally like him retelling the whole history of the X-Men from the very beginning with every conceivable iteration of every book. It's really weird. It's just amazing. You're reading it and you're just like, oh shit, I remember that. Oh, that happened then. Oh, it's this really glorious nostalgia.
Sounds like me porn is what it sounds like.
I'm just looking at the covers, and it looks like it's very like throwbacky sort of art too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everything he does is very, very much like the the Zipatone dots and the and that color scheme. It looks like that sort of newsprint page. And everything he does is very, very retro looking, and it's just it's a lot of fun. It's just really cool to see how he puts things together.
Very cool. All right, Mars, you're number 4.
This one is simple because it's been on my list every year at varying parts, and I feel like it's coming back. It's coming back strong, and that's Saga.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, see, if you like Saga, you should totally read Maestros.
I'm on it.
Good.
All right, so we're on to number 3.
My number 3 is Mr. Miracle by Tom King.
Oh man, I only have the first issue, and I want to. I'm gonna have to get in trade because I love Scott Free.
Yeah, exactly. It's everything you want, and it's just super cool. And I can't I feel like every issue is just so satisfying. It's so emotionally satisfying seeing his take on this character, and introducing him Big Barda and all that. I love it. I like that. So I think he's the right writer for that. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I shouldn't discount the stuff he's been doing on Batman as well. Like, did you read that Batman annual that came out?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, everything you've been doing with the relationship of Batman and Catwoman is good, so Tom King is always on top of his game, and Mr. Miracle is definitely no exception.
Isn't he writing Batman, or is it Detective? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's proper.
Yeah, I wanted to start getting those in trades because they were super intriguing to me, but I just ran out of money.
Very cool. I'm a big fan of Mr. Miracle, thanks to you, Mars, so I'll be curious to check that out.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I have been a big fan of reading this new modern iteration of Men's Adventure. Everything from Jim Butcher's Dresden to Jonathan Mayberry's Joe Ledger books to the Sandman Slim books to even the I've been reading illegally. I've been listening to the some of the Jack Reacher books. I just really like it. I'm really into it because I grew up in a household that had the Destroyer and had the Executioner and had Longhorn, I think was the Dirty Cowboy book's name, and
from Texas.
Yeah, and had all and of course Doc Savage and the Shadow and all that other stuff around. Leave it to my favorite contemporary writer in comics right now to do the comic book version of that, and this was a gift from my special lady friend this year. I didn't even know it had come out. For some reason, I totally missed it, let alone got it collected. And that is Alex de Campy's Mayday.
Right, yes.
Which is the first in a series about this spy who is the sleaziest son of a bitch in the history, probably, of spy things.
Once again, an Image comic.
Yep, it's fucking great. It's a beautiful book. The art is stunning. And it's probably, for somebody who I feel like is a very cinematic writer in the way she, kind of puts things out and stored, this is probably her most comic in the sense where I feel like she uses... I'm going to pee my pants.
My God, you were literally doing a fucking pee-pee dance. This is ridiculous. If you guys see Mars dancing on the live feed, it's because he's gonna pee his pants.
Don't cough.
So I like Mayday. Tree.
Jesus Christ. All right, Wendy. I guess he's going to the bathroom, so...
he's coming back in.
I've never seen him run so fast. I've never seen him run so fast.
He went back in time.
All right, Wendy, while he's gone, let's hear number 2.
All right, my number 2.
He does a number 1.
My number 2 is another Image book, Extremity by Daniel Warren Johnson. And it's this post-apocalyptic future story about this this revenge thing between these two families. And it's all very, very much, it's very sort of Road Warrior-ish. There's a lot of world building, chases and battles and cars and violence, and it's just this kind of cool hyper-violent sci-fi book that's really, really crazy detailed, and I like it. So, Extremity by Daniel Warren Johnson.
That sounds really cool. I've been sort of out of the comic book game for a little bit, mostly because I had to kind of scale back due to money reasons, and I've been toying with getting some digital stuff, and I actually tried. Marvel has a great subscription service where you pay, it's like $10 a month, and you can read basically anything you want. So I tried it for a month, and I didn't use as much as I had hoped, so I didn't end up subscribing after that. But for someone like me, if I can get more into that, if I don't know if Image offers something like that, but if Image offers any sort of digital subscription plan, I would probably jump on that because I'm really interested in a lot of these books that you mentioned.
Right. Yeah, no, Image doesn't do that. A lot of times, though, they may do humble bundles.
Yes.
Where, like,
Yep.
you pay like X amount of dollars and you get, like, a whole ton of digital stuff,
Yep.
like, those are pretty cool. But like I said, like, I've been reading things through my library app and through, through various things. So there's always ways to read things.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah.
Mars, so I don't know if this is on your list, but number 2 for Wendy was Extremity from Image Comics.
Oh, nice. It's not. I've never even heard of it, actually.
Okay.
All right. Yeah,
Cool.
you should check it out. If you like crazy, hyper-violent sci-fi, killer robots and crazy cars and shit, you love that.
Deal.
Yeah.
Deal. Yeah. I mean, Image is just great right now. Like, I feel like they're everything that is good about the art form. I actually skipped a book at some point. I don't know how.
I don't know. We're on number 2, though, Mars.
Oh, so this is going to be my number 2 now, even though it's not actually my number 2. And this is maybe the best looking book on the stands, and it's also by Image Comics. It mixes. It's doing kind of a similar thing to Dresden. Somebody once did the elevator pitch. It's Jessica Jones meets Dresden, and I think it's way cooler than either one of those things. And it is Black Magic.
Oh yeah, and that's who's the artist on that?
I forget.
Let me look it
It
up.
reminds me of Terry Moore a little bit, though.
All right, I'll take a look and see.
I'm like a fucking sinkhole of names.
Nicola Scott.
Yeah, Nicola Scott,
Yep.
who is one of my favorites. I love her to death.
Yeah, and Greg Rucka, obviously.
His book is beautiful.
Showing up a lot on this.
Yeah, I mean, him and Rick Remender, are putting out more stuff that I even know. Like I'm seeing it for the first time in trades. I got at the beginning of the year, right before my surgery, I got a science fiction fantasy book that Remender wrote that I didn't get to finish, but I had no idea it was out even.
What was it?
I forget the name. It's
Did you say it was sci-fi?
Yeah, I was it was pretty cool, the premise,
Fear Agent?
No.
Was it a black
Black Science?
Black Science?
Nope.
Science?
No, I adore Black. I've decided I'm going to get Black Science in trade though, because I think it's going to.
Yeah, it's too. Black Science is something like I finally dropped it because it was just getting so convoluted, and
Yeah,
I
it
feel
was-
like it's not something you can really read month to month easily. I feel like it's
Right.
one of those things you definitely have to read it all at once.
There was something. Plus, I mean, no offense, I didn't think the art was bad, but there was
Tokyo Ghost?
no. But Tokyo Ghost is what I was looking for when I found it.
Low is great art.
Yeah, but it has great art too. I'm so embarrassed I can't remember it, but it's kind of post-apocalyptic-y or like a different planet.
7 to Eternity?
Yep, that's the one.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
I never would have remembered the name of that book. I read it while I was right when I got out of it was the first thing I read when I was still in the hospital, but able to get around.
Yeah, it's great art.
And it's been sitting in my other satchel, and I haven't unpacked it yet.
Yeah, 7 to Eternity is I haven't read it yet, but I know I'll like it. So
It looks
I feel guilty.
It looks very cinematic, Mars. Is it? Would you say it? I mean, just from looking at the images, and I don't know, it just looks very cinematic to me.
It reminds me actually of a science fiction book my dad would have had that I would have picked up and started reading in
Yeah,
the
it looks
middle.
awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out. In the chat room, Donnie asks, does Comixology Unlimited do any image titles? And that I don't know. Do you know, Wendy, by
I
any
don't know
chance?
that either because I haven't really looked at Comixology Unlimited.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out because I do have Comixology installed. I just haven't really looked at it. So, all right, well, it's the moment everyone's been waiting for. We're down to the number 1 book. So, Wendy, let's hear your number 1 comic of 2017.
All right, my number 1 comic of 2017, I'm very surprised by, and it's a graphic novel from Fantagraphics, and it's called My Favorite Thing Is Monsters by a woman named, by Emil Ferris, her name is, and it's a story. It's like a journal of a girl in the 60s, and the political stuff, and all these things. And so it's sort of like her journal, and sort of her love of B-movie monsters, and all these things. But it's all hand drawn with ballpoint pen.
Oh wow!
And
yeah,
it's fucking insanity. Her artwork is insanity, and the whole thing is this is her very first comic, and she's a 55-year-old woman.
Wow!
This is her very first comic she's ever
Really?
drawn, and her entire story is crazy. She had Lyme disease and had to teach herself. She had to reteach herself how to draw
Jesus.
And you look at this art, and it's like I couldn't draw like to draw like that the first time is amazing, much less to reteach yourself. But it's just like this incredible accomplishment of a book, and it's really thick. It's just a giant book, and every single page you're like, how the hell did she do that? It's been critically acclaimed, and people have been talking about it like a lot in the comic community for the past year, and it's definitely worth it.
Jesus.
I'm just looking at some pictures, Wendy, and it looks like it's drawn on a notebook, like a lined notebook.
Right. It's drawn like lined notebook, ballpoint pen.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I'm looking here. I just read something here that I guess Sam Mendes is eyeing my favorite thing is Monsters. So it looks like people are definitely have their eyes on this. So we could probably see a film of it in the near future.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. It sounds great, and it's a great story too to hear that. So I'm really interested in checking this one out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. I'm very happy she's getting attention for that. That's pretty cool.
For sure. All right, Marsman, down to number 1. Are you ready?
Yeah, Frank Miller. I forget the name of it. The Black Terror, I think it was called, wrote kind of the fascist version of Batman at one point. I don't want to say fascist, but let's say the right wing version of Batman, we'll say. But our buddy, I say our buddy like he even remembers who we are, but one of our favorite interviews of all time, Kari Andrews, wrote the more charming version of that power fantasy with the very violent, but I feel very Frank Miller inspired, Renato Jones, the Freelancer.
Renato.
Season 2, and it's a feast for the eyes. It's as someone who's trying to put out a book right now, I cringe at the amount of pages that are just blank. But thinking like how is he paying for this? but it is a fucking great book. If you don't know what it's basically about a very powerful assassin who's been groomed, much like Bruce Wayne almost, to take out the evil 1% of the world, and the 1% in this world is actually, more Dr. Octopus than Donald Trump. So it's a very fun book. And this one is very spot on for what's going on. This season has a lot to do with what's actually going on in the United States of America. So I will say this: Kari Andrews loves to draw cocks because there's a lot of cocks flopping around in this one.
Didn't he show Peter Parker's pecker? Peter Parker pecker?
Everyone's uncircumcised in the Andrews verse.
That's weird.
Yeah. It hangs a little bit to the right.
Andrews. Thank you for putting that in my head. But yeah, no, I love Renato Jones. I think that's such a great book, and I think, exactly. It's topical, it's timely, but it's hyper violent and crazy.
Right.
I think everyone here would love it. I've only read the first one, but I really enjoyed it. I read it right after it came out, and I intended to keep getting them, and I just didn't. So I'm really interested in checking this out, and knowing it's your number 1, Mars, it's definitely gonna head up the list, so I can definitely check it out. I think especially these guys who dug Frank Miller stuff would be interested in it.
No, I keep meaning to pick it up. I got some Barnes and Noble gift cards.
Some what?
Yeah.
Bonds?
Yeah. Barnes and Noble.
Bonds?
This second
they
one
sell books.
Manages to somehow lean on a lot of these relationships that the first one was beholden to, but somehow doesn't slow down at all. This book fucking has its pedal to the fucking metal the whole entire time. It takes one breath, I feel like, following a huge kind of cool plot point. You know what I mean? While it's doing that nuclear, while that breath is being had, nuclear missiles are being fired on the United States of America. So it's pretty cool, and he knows how heavy-handed he is with the art design. When one of the villains' characters have what looks like Nazi armbands, but they have dollar signs instead of things. He is well fucking aware of what he's doing. But I love it, man. Go for it. Go for it. I love it.
Let me read real quick. On issue number 1, there's a quote from Warren Ellis, and it says, "A sort of hallucinatory rage pop Punisher from Occupy. It's gorgeous and also demented."
Yeah, it is. So. It is. It's off the rails a lot of times. But
I didn't kill anybody.
It's so political that it's almost not. I know that doesn't make any sense, but you could I feel like you could appreciate the humor in this no matter where you fall.
I think if you're a fan of things like Kingsman, if you're a fan of things like Kick-Ass, like Mark Miller, like that sort of over-the-top, cheeky, tongue-in-cheek kind of violence, I feel like you'd be really into this.
Oh yeah. And I mean, again, like I do think like Andrews has his own style, but there's something about this, that really harkens back to me to like Miller's artwork during in his page composition during like the Dark Knight Returns era of stuff. I just love it to bits.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. The top 13 comics of 2017 from Dynamo and Wendy. And Wendy, I know we ran a little over, but I appreciate you hanging around because it's always great to hear your picks. And I'm super interested. I wrote them all down, so I'm super interested in checking out a bunch of them. And I'll have to maybe next time we have you on, we'll report back to you.
I would love that. You can write to me anytime and tell me what you think.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
you think of that.
I don't want to wait a year, Wendy. I love having you on, so let's do it again soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do our semi-annual wrap-up.
There you go. Just to let like a primer, let people know what's awesome, and then they can check it out. And hopefully, by the time we get to the year end, people have read a lot of those books. So.
It would be fun if we had the two members of the Trashy Trio that we were in contact with on at the same time. That would be probably pretty fun.
Oh man, I don't even get to talk to Josh anymore. Yeah. Josh is in Brazil right now.
Oh. Yeah, we could talk.
I want a Trashy Trio reunion. I totally want that.
We can see about that. It's awesome. So Wendy, let folks know where they can find your podcast. If you want them to find you on social media or anything like that, let folks know where they can find you.
Well, you can find Double Page Spread. You can find me on Stitcher, on iTunes, on through Libsyn is where it's mainly hosted. You can go LIBSYN / Double Page Spread, or just look. If you look up wherever fine podcasts are downloaded, I'm sure you'll find me. And I opened up a merch store.
Oh, nice.
So on Threadless. So like my artist Tom Kelly, he does these cutesy sort of logos for me. If you ever see, it's like Captain America eating a cupcake, and I want it's Judge Dredd drinking a Slurpee, and Cannonball from the New Mutants. He's like eating a fried chicken. I have these like cutesy ones of different characters eating food. And so you can get all of that on merchandise. You can get it on T-shirts. You can get it on tote bags. You can get it on a shower curtain. You get anything you want. So
awesome.
Check out the Double Page Spread merch store.
I see a Judge Dredd one that just came up in a quick Google search.
Yes. Yeah, with the Slurpee cup. I love that. That's adorable.
That is super awesome. Yeah. So go ahead and check out Wendy's stuff on Threadless, and you can check out some great merch for Double Page Spread. And make sure you subscribe and check out all her episodes, and give her a shout out, and let Wendy know what you think of her picks, and also if you agree, disagree, and get in touch with Wendy. So yeah, Wendy, we really appreciate you coming on again. It was awesome having you on as always, and we'll have to make sure that it happens. We won't wait a year next time.
All right, good. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful evening.
You as well. Thanks again, Wendy. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Well, Wendy bringing the thunder with her picks.
She's a rock star. She's the best.
Totally is a rock star, and I'm super interested in a lot of her picks. There's some great stuff on there. So, Raven Shadow, you frequent a comic book store.
Yes.
You're gonna have to check some of these out.
No. Actually, I finally bought. I bought all my comics from 2016, 17 rather, a couple weeks ago. So I have a huge stack. I have a weird thing
now.
Fat
stack.
Yeah. I've been doing a weird thing now where, unlike getting a series, I kind of like will go through, and DC's been doing a lot of arcs like in 3 parts, like small little mini arcs. So that's great. I've been grabbing covers old school. Like if it's a cool cover, I'll grab it. Like Kyle Rayner is back in his original costume.
Really?
Yeah. So I grabbed the issues that he first started wearing that again. Roy Harper showed up in Green Arrow, so I grabbed 2 of those. So this is great. That's my next tattoo.
We got a Raven J, and it is Raven Shadow walking out of a comic book store with a huge stack of comics, and the comic book guy is saying, well, got to order more Savage Dragon. Looks like you bought him out, Raven Shadow.
That's my next tattoo. That's what I'm getting.
After that description, you were sold, huh?
It's fucking great. He's fucking good, man. He's been killing it tonight. And
nice work, Raven
forever.
Jack.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
That is funny.
I'm actually gonna look up the Comixology stuff. I want to see if you can get Image on Comixology.
Look up Savage Dragon. I want to see that. That's outrageous. That's a fucking double page spread. That's a double page splash.
Well, like he's been slowly moving up in his outrageousness since, like, you know, forever. Like, remember how controversial "Don't Fuck with God"
Right.
was? You know what I mean? Like,
and wasn't it? Didn't he go in someone's like a giant's butthole or something?
Yeah, that was in 100, I think.
Yeah. But to be fair, in terms of, I mean, Dragon was always just a fun balls to the wall comic. But I'm sure was he the president or editor in chief for a while? If not,
I think so. Yeah.
That might help keep your book on the market if you're the president.
True.
Of the company. But no, it's not a dig. But he's the only original creator to stay on his original book.
Well, that book has a fanatical fan base, and a lot of it isn't people who've kind of given up on, like, I know CDR is a huge Dragon fan.
Really?
So, yeah.
And Dragon's
You got to ask him. You got to ask him about that.
Yeah, I think he may be a bit behind, but like when I was setting up this kind of podcast, I've kind of talked to Wolfie a little bit about this playthrough podcast I'd like to do at some point for kind of like I asked him like what would be a hero that he'd be like interested in. Like I asked it as a Cult of Muscle question, like here are your 3 missions, who are your team? And it was like Savage Dragon and some Vertigo characters I'd never heard of.
Yeah, and actually is he probably has the longest time on a book over anybody, right? In terms of drawing it and writing it.
Oh, it's got to be. I mean, especially in this day and age, like look at the continuous numbering and what the hell was that?
What was what?
I swear to God, I just heard a little girl laughing. I swear to God.
His chair squeaked.
This is the last thing I read on the Image Comics app was Renato Jones.
Oh shit!
#1.
Savage Dragon 225.
So actually, so there's a Renato Jones #1. It looks like the Image app actually. I think you can probably buy stuff on here. What was one of the ones that she said was the Eternity? I think was one of them. Was one of the ones I wrote down that sounded cool. So I'll take a look. 7 to Eternity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you can buy a graphic novel for $7.99 digitally.
I'm hoping to finish it this week.
That's pretty good for a graphic novel.
I'm torn because I have all this free time to read now. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like I can still put in a lot of time writing and then also just read and watch movies.
Yeah.
But I feel like I should probably just spend more time writing. So I've been not reading and watching as much.
Yeah. Research.
It's funny, like I've been doing a soft rewrite for someone, and I pulled out a bunch of books just to like figure out when if I was overloading panels.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't have any. I wouldn't be able to pick the artist out of the lineup, so I don't have any like rapport with them. So I'm trying to like figure out what to do. And normally, on the Deadites comic, even though we don't have an artist yet, Jenny is an artist. So when she gives me the first rewrite of a script, I give her this page grid, this like layout grids at the top of the script to see kind of how she's thinking it should be laid out and stuff like that. So
like here, I could buy Mayday, the graphic novel, for $12.99, or I could probably buy single issues. So it looks like
it's so good.
The ones that I've looked up that were mentioned are on the Image app. I don't have the Comixology app installed, so I don't know for sure on there, but I do know that you can buy them off of the Image app. So.
Filmmakers, producers, if you are out there quietly listening, buy all of Alex DeCampi's stuff and make movies out of them. They are like, not since Frank Miller, in my opinion, is a comic writer writing screenplays as comics. Like, I think this Mayday is, I think it's sort of more based on like literature stuff and alternate history stuff a little. or not alternate history, but like in the same way Atomic Blonde is going on. Not to compare it because it's much better than Atomic Blonde, but Atomic Blonde is going on while a historical thing is happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Mixes fact with fiction.
Right. This is a fucking great book. It's like a fucking sleazy James Bond, a sleazy Soviet James Bond.
Ooh.
And I was so happy to see that this was another book is coming out, and it's the second book in this character. It's just so fucking good. But I mean, her Semi-Automagic would be a great film.
That's a great fucking title.
Yeah, it really is.
All the Grindhouse stuff. Mayday. There's something that I love.
It's
that's
too bad,
escaping me.
and I've never read it. But what was it? Was it Bitch Planet? Was that the one that was done by? Shit, I'm blanking on her name.
Kelly Sue DeConnick.
Kelly Sue.
Thank you. Yeah.
And it seemed like that got a lot of attention, whereas Alex DeCampi's Grindhouse didn't get nearly the attention, and it was a better book, like by most people, right?
I love Bitch Planet, but I think that I like exploitation sometimes better than I like political allegory.
Sure, yeah.
And Alex DeCampi's her version of the women in prison story was like more, relentless. But I mean, those things like. The novelty of the Grindhouse stuff is that they're low-budget movies that you couldn't make unless it was a comic because you have the thing. But, like, so many... There's another one of her books that I No Mercy. Like, that's begging to be a film or a TV series or something. Like, just, like, I'm telling you, all these are hits, films or hit movies. And I'm not just saying this because she's likes good music and has good fashion. But... and as I found out today, she's as nice of a lady as she is a artist. But I think that, like these are just like fucking slam dunks with strong women characters, which the market is fucking ripe for if we're just looking at it in a thing. In this one, like fucking, at some point I feel like this is the Mayday is going to be a film someday. Like it just is like, if I was going to produce it right now, you know who I'd have do it?
Who?
The Moe Brothers.
Yeah.
Going more with like killers than the more bombasticness of Headshot, but it does have flourishes of that sort of kind of cinematic ultraviolence.
Mm-hmm.
That would be where I would go, but
cool. There's a lot of stuff for people to chew on if you're into comics. Like right now, once again, I'm just looking on the Image app, but I see Extremity, which is one of Wendy's top books, and they're all available here. You can buy a graphic novel of them for $12.99, or you can buy single issues. It looks like the most recent issue is $3.99, and then when another one comes out, the digital price drops down to $1.99. So if you want to wait a month, you can get the single issues for $2 typically. It seems like. I don't know if that's how most companies are doing the digital thing now, but I guess that makes sense. That way the brick and mortar can still compete, because if they come out same day at $1.99, then a lot of people are So
Valentine, that would be a great bank shot. Like I'm thinking of No Mercy here. No Mercy again, like I said before.
WWF No Mercy.
Yes. No Mercy is basically the story of, it's very very Green Inferno-y, the story of like some a group of college kids that are going on a bus ride to help some help a poor community south of the border, and halfway there their bus tips over in the their bus gets into a collision with another car that has a great deal of cartel drugs on them.
Mm-hmm.
And they are besieged in the desert by things that live in the desert and bad guys and all sorts of things. It is a fucking masterwork of you wouldn't call it, because it doesn't have any of those traditional horror trappings, but man, there's always the joke that Mickey Keating just said it on his awesome show, The Core, the difference between horror and suspense to the film community is how much fucking backing they put into it. And like No Mercy, it's maybe a TV show, but definitely a fucking killer movie. And it's young kids,
All right, so let's wrap things up here. We only got a couple voicemail, so we'll get to those and we'll start wrapping things up. And I guess we didn't really do a question this week because we had another segment, but I guess when we say our goodbyes, I don't know. If you guys want to talk about a comic, go for it. It could be any comic. How about that? I'll leave it wide open for you. Favorite comic of all time. Oh, Raven Shadow. Just pick one, all right?
My name's Monster Giro, and I say Sam Kinison.
Monster Giro. Is that one of those Greek sandwiches? All right. All right, well, let's hear. Actually, this is maybe this was for Wendy. I don't know, but it's a question from FTM, First Time Mike. It's a comic book question. So why don't we go to the tape and listen to First Time Mike?
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is First Time Mike. How's everybody doing this
buddy.
evening? And hello to Wendy Freeman, if you're still there.
Oops, sorry, bud.
It was fun listening to you on the show. And I don't have a long question for you guys tonight. I'll be honest, I don't read much comics right now. If anything, I'll pick up maybe some of the different miniseries, like some of the Batman 66 crossover miniseries, or I picked up the recent like Ash and the Army of Darkness comics. Maybe stuff here or there, but I don't really read a lot of Marvel and DC anymore, and a lot of my stuff is basically rating the 25-cent bins because I seem to be on a 90s comic kick, especially stuff like Ultraverse or some of the weirder universes that all seem to pop up around 92 and 93 when everybody thought that we're going to get on the comics gravy train and we're going to have our own comic book universe. And some of the really interesting ones lasted maybe 10 issues of their whole line altogether. But that's what I've been kind of listening to. But my question tonight is tangential to that. With stuff coming up, what I saw in the latest Advanced Comics or previews. Well, Advanced Comics, I'm dating myself. The new age of DC Heroes and Marvel Legacy with a lot of old style characters coming back. My question to you guys is this: if you could bring back some old characters, I mean, you can go old 70s Marvel or pre-crisis DC, what are some of the characters you would like to bring back in a modern day with maybe a little twist or some different versions of that would kind of work in today's market? Nothing fancy, but maybe a new, more Ted Kord Blue Beetle. I haven't read the new Blue Beetle stuff, so I wouldn't know how he's faring right now. Or, maybe some comic line you were fond of back in the day that you can, what would you like to see come back in this day and age, and what little twist would you put on it? That's my question for tonight. Excuse me. Wish you guys all the best. If you guys are getting a cold snap up by you, I thought I saw on the news today. So y'all keep warm. And stay safe, everyone. This is First Time Mike saying good night. Bye.
Thank you, First Time Mike. And what did you say? A cold snap? Is it?
Yeah.
We got a
snowstorm.
A snowstorm, it ended kind of earlier this afternoon. But I don't think we're getting anything else.
No, it's supposed to be in the mid-30s for the rest of the week, I think.
Good.
Maybe 48.
It's like a fucking heat wave compared to 2 weeks ago.
Gonna grill out, watch the Pats.
Grill out.
Go Brady.
So I'll take it looks like I don't think we're getting any more. It looks like maybe we might get some more snow on Monday. But yeah, so I think we're good. So I think that was it. All right, so the question at hand, any comic books or comic book characters you'd like to bring back? And if so, how? Does anyone have an answer off the top of their head?
Little Lulu. I don't know.
Well, for me, actually, I didn't bring it. I bought it on Monday. I was going to bring it tonight, but it picked up. It's part of the same scale that you like, Dynamo, the DC version of Marvel Legends. Yeah. They had a.
Ooh, is that the 6-inch scale?
Oh, you better believe it. You bet your Big Pepper.
You bet your Purple Pepper.
I said on my voice recognition software while I was talking to these fucking jamokes today, while a nurse was in the other room, I said, I am the king of the 6-inch.
He did. I verify he did say it.
But no, they had an Obsidian figure.
Oh, yeah.
And if you know Obsidian.
The Jade and Obsidian, right?
Yeah. Basically, Obsidian is the son of the Golden Age, Alan Scott, and his twin sister Jade. But he spun out of a team called Infinity Incorporated, which in the mid '80s, DC was really top heavy in awesome super teams. He had the Teen Titans, Batman the Outsiders, Infinity Inc., and they spun out of the All-Star Squadron, which was a World War II based comic. Essentially, Justice League Unlimited mirrored their kind of mission statement, where they took all the Golden Age heroes and put them on one team. So you had a rotating cast. But Infinity Inc. was the sons and daughters of the legendary JSA, and I really enjoyed their book. They were led by the original Star Spangled Kid, who later became Skyman. Mr. Bones, your boy Johnny, was on the team. The second Hour Man, Rick Tyler. So I really enjoyed that book a lot. And it even has a lot of ties to DC as the years progressed. The Golden Age Hawkman's son, Hector Hall, and his girlfriend, Lita, who was the daughter of the Golden Age Wonder Woman, are the parents of Daniel, who was the second Sandman after Morpheus. So a lot of stuff came out of, I think Roy and Dan Thomas wrote the characters along with Jerry Ordway. And I don't think they've ever been collected. They might have collected the very first 6-part story from 84, 85. But I really enjoyed that book, and I would love to either reprint the entire series or bring them back in modern. I'm a huge mark for proteges and legacy heroes.
Yep. Now, I'm not too up on current comic books. Well, not all of them, so I don't know if this is something that has already been done. But the first thing that comes to mind, you did mention that Kyle's back in the costume. That may have been one of the options.
Yeah.
He's now Green Lantern again?
Well, he's been part of the team.
Core
he was
whatever.
he was a White Lantern for a while, but there's 2 Green Lantern books.
That's racist, man.
I didn't write it. There's blue ones. I don't know what the fuck Gonzo is.
Gonzo. Yep.
The Gonzo Corps. But there's 2 GL books. It's Green Lanterns, which are 2 new ones. I don't know how to read that.
New ones?
Yeah.
Don't they have enough?
There's more, yeah.
They don't need any more for Sector 28 to 14, right?
2814. Yeah, it's a guy and a girl. It's I don't know if he's Muslim, if he's a Muslim Green Lantern.
Oh, okay. I remember seeing something about that.
Baz,
yeah, okay.
somebody,
That's cool.
Simon Baz.
Yeah, that's cool.
Somebody
Yeah.
Baz. But there's Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps.
Okay.
That's where you'll get Hal, Guy, John, and Kyle. So it's the original awesome suit. The only difference is the symbol is the official Green Lantern symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. But
not the kind of fancy new one he got.
Yeah. But it's the same black and white.
Yeah. Imagine if MZ had to relive this day over and over. He'd kill himself hearing so much comic talk.
All right, next week, submit your favorite, Transformer memory, or who should voice Hubcap in the next movie,
or your favorite
whatever.
cinematic rape.
Oh, there's so many to choose from.
Yeah.
But I'll go with, and you can tell me, Raven Shadow, if he's come back. But I'm going to go with Jack Knight Starman.
Oh,
I want him to retake the mantle. Granted, his story was told. I think that was the perfect way to end it. But as a mark for that, I would love to see more. So.
Oh, I agree.
I would just bring him back and do the same old shit that he did.
You remember there was that came close to having the TV series called Opal City. I believe.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about that.
But I would love if that can get done now.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked then, but I think now on some fucking platform, make Jack.
Grand Guignol.
Yeah, see? Copyright.
Bringing it back, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's pretty much, I agree, Johnny. For me, it's always Big Trouble in Little China and Jack.
Yeah.
That's it.
When in doubt.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any others that they want to talk about? Ares, Mars?
Justice League International. I don't know exactly. I would probably freshen
the Bwahaha era.
Oh yeah. I would do it a little different, but that's what I would do.
Do you think that could come back in this day and age?
Well, it better, because other people aren't going to buy the Deadites comic. I get notes from Jenny that say things like, "We have 22 issues. If 20 of them are the Deadites arguing in a coffee shop, the monsters are going to win when they get out."
Yeah, I'd be down for that. It was a great run. Ares, MZ?
I don't know if it ever happened since, but back in the mid-'90s, the Amalgam comic series.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
Some of them were bad, but some were good. I don't know. I'd like to see that again. Some reimagining. Of
I'd be
some
down
of
for
the,
a Dark Claw.
Dark Claw was one of the good ones, yeah. But even just to combine some of the other characters together.
Iron Lantern.
Yep, there was that one. Great title was Magneto and the Metal Men.
Oh yeah,
it was a great title, but awful book.
Awful book, but a great title.
Yeah.
And
Was it just the amalgams? What was the name of the?
Yeah, it was. It came sprung out of the. It was also when Marvel and DC were friends again.
Right.
Before Quesada, turned Marvel heel.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, they were too close, and the rivalry is better, for sales at least.
Here's some of the characters. There was
Demon.
Yeah, there was Darkclaw as Aries mentioned. Deadeye, which is Bullseye and Deadshot.
Yep.
Doctor Doomsday, which is Doomsday and Doctor Doom, obviously. Doctor Strange Fate.
Great costume. Great name.
Lethal, which is Cheetah and Kraven the Hunter.
Nobody wanted that.
Night Creeper, which is Creeper and Nightcrawler.
Yep.
Skulk, which is Solomon Grundy and Hulk, obviously. Spider Boy, which is Superboy and Spider-Man.
Yep.
And Super Soldier, which is Superman and Captain America.
Yeah, there's also JLX, which was the...
Yeah, I just named a few of them there.
Well,
So
I'll fucking name the rest.
Go for it. I know you
shit.
could.
I don't need it interweb.
Okay, yeah. What about?
I mean, there was the Storm Wonder Woman. I forget what the title was.
Oh yeah, I see the picture now. So, and obviously, did you mention the Batman Wolverine?
Yeah, that was Darkclaw.
Oh, that's right. Of course, yeah.
Right in the title there.
He dresses in black and he has claws.
Is this a Ghost Rider amalgam?
That's Speed Demon. It was Ghost Rider and I guess the Flash.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. I got a couple of these back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, there was some of them were good concepts, but just the story was awful. I think there was a Bruce Wayne Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That was kind of cool. Yeah,
I like that.
With cool Carrie Nord artwork.
I didn't like that they
X-Patrol.
made
Doom Patrol.
I didn't like that it was Captain America and Superman was the amalgam.
Why not?
I don't know.
That seemed very fitting.
Yeah, I
I
think.
don't like it.
Who would you have mixed Superman with?
Hulk and Superman.
So
who would you mix Captain America with?
Batman.
Why would you mix Hulk and Superman?
Because
Hulk is really strong and Superman is strong
Really
and
strong.
can do everything else.
well, that's all the bad stuff, and then I would have the gray Hulk be the Lex Luthor and not know that they were the same person. I'm a much better writer than
That's
him.
why you're not writing comics.
How about
Okay.
that?
How about that?
No, that's not why I'm not writing comics. Because people don't like comics about people talking.
I do.
I know.
All right, MZ.
You'd be my biggest.
Do you have anything?
No, I can't add
Think of
anything.
something. Come on.
Oh, stop
You've had
it. All
2
right.
fucking hours to think of one fucking movie that's not left.
Yeah, let's name a movie.
Yeah, I got 2 for you.
Okay, I said 2.
Okay.
Name them.
Night of the Living Dead, which was released originally as Night of Anubis.
Anubis?
Anubis?
Anubis.
You sure it's not Anubis?
Anubis.
No, it was.
It never got released as that.
It got released on its first night. It got released as Night of Anubis.
No, it was Night of Flesh Eaters.
Night
in a
of
movie,
Flesh
in a
Eaters.
movie already had that, and that's why
right.
they had to change.
Okay,
it.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Well, that's
I
why.
do
That's
stand
why it's
corrected.
famously lost its. It was never trademarked.
But
because
you
of
think,
that.
but Night of Flesh Eaters wouldn't have hurt the movie.
Yeah,
at
it
all.
didn't
I
have
think it
anything to
would've
do
done-
with.
No, it was pulled. The title was pulled before.
Right.
Any real.
So that didn't
You're
hurt
not-
its
you're
release
not
at all.
help- You're not helping your argument.
Oh, Jesus. Why do I fucking work with you dicks?
Because
Why do you always have to bust my balls? I'm
Because
sick
you
and tired of
said
it.
no.
All right, and I got another one, you stupid cunts. All right?
When you have a thesis, you need to back it up.
Will you shut up?
No.
Shut up.
No.
Shut up.
No.
Shut up.
No.
Shut up.
No.
Shut
No.
up. Shut
No.
up. Shut
No.
up.
No.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
You shut up.
Shut up.
Anywho,
You got this. You got this.
right in the mic.
And the second one, because he turned my mic
No,
off.
he didn't.
Yeah, you did. I saw you pull.
I was going to, and I didn't.
Oh, that's so big of you. All right.
Back over to your
Back
side
to
of
your
the room.
mic.
Another movie that was released. Then it got pulled.
M.
No. The Evil Dead was originally titled The Book of the Dead. Look at him! Look at him!
Oh
look.
yeah,
I'm checking. Yeah.
Yeah, it was originally released as Book of the Dead.
Why was
and
it
then
changed?
Because what's his name?
Sam Raimi?
No, the producer.
Rob Tap.
No. The guy. De Laurentiis.
Yeah.
He said that he felt that the title, The Book of the Dead, was nobody's going to go see a movie about people reading, so he came up with The Evil Dead.
Okay, how long was it released for?
Yeah, did it get released?
It got released maybe a couple of showings, I think.
So they didn't change the name because no one went to see it because they felt no one was going to see it.
They felt no one was going to see it because they felt that the title was going to hurt the movie.
I don't know if that supports.
that's not what you said.
It does support it. Jesus Christ, he's looking for
because
anything.
it would have come out and
you
not
shut
work.
up. You stay out of this. You've talked enough.
It would have come out.
You have spoken enough.
They were guessing that no one was going to go see it. They didn't have any proof no one was going to go see it.
Oh, for Christ's sake! Are we really going to do this?
Yeah, that's what you said.
It was your thesis.
Oh, shut up!
He's yelling at us because we're calling him out for bullshit.
You know what? I'm sorry. You're wrong.
You could suck my nut. You could suck my nut. You could suck my
say
dick, and you could
nothing.
kiss my ass.
Wow!
All right.
I got off easy on this one, and I'm giving him the hardest time.
I just gave you 2 more titles. I don't know what else to tell you.
I'm sorry. I don't accept
They
those
don't
titles.
have
I know you don't
anything to do
accept
with
those
what
titles.
you said.
I know you don't accept those
They
titles.
don't support your
because
argument.
They don't support your
they
argument
do
at all.
support
They just
your
maybe
argument.
make a
They don't.
change.
They do.
They don't.
They do.
They
But
don't.
they would have had to have come out and performed poorly to support your argument.
Regardless, they were out and they were pulled, and then they went back, with a new title.
But that's not what you said.
I don't get. Since when do you give a shit about what I say?
Never.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Let's continue.
I love how he just fucking trumping it over here. Rewriting history.
Some shithole
Oh
answers.
my God! That's exactly what you're doing.
He totally trumped it.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'm gonna start calling you Donald.
Hey, I might be an asshole, but I'm not a fucking asshole. Do I look like a Republican to you?
But you completely trumped that.
To be fair, neither is he. I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to wait long enough that I can try to say something that doesn't have anything to do with what I said in the first place.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
That is exactly what
That is
happened.
not exactly
It is,
what
yeah.
happened.
All
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. My God. Do you suck the cum out of his dick, or do you just fondle his balls, or what is it? Did you do? What do you? What do you have on him?
Because we're right and you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
You kind of are.
I'm kind of not.
Aries is right down the middle. He's like fucking Bryce Remsburg.
Kind of not.
He's like Earl
Brains.
Hebner.
No. I'm right.
No.
Yes.
You can get as upset as you want. It's not
I'm
going to
not
change the
getting
fact
upset.
that you're wrong.
I'm fine.
Who was yelling?
Did you
the
know
most?
that Eraserhead was originally called Monster Zero Head?
No.
And they changed it because they didn't think anyone was going to go fucking see it.
Can we call
regardless of what you guys think,
Can we
and
call
you
you
guys
Trumpy?
are wrong. Regardless of what you guys think, I was right as far
You
as
were
far.
right.
Wait, will you let me finish? Eat an M&M. Drink another Dr. Pepper. You only drank 4 of them plus an Arizona iced tea. Jesus Christ.
Okay, continue.
You cannot you cannot deny the fact that I was right about Last House on the Left.
No, I won't. I'll give you that one.
Oh, gee,
you provided some
I did.
You
good
provided
evidence. You provided evidence.
You said 1 million and you provided 1.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
So that is
1,000,001.
When I said 1 million, I'm talking about films that get a new title. Now I know that's every film, but back then, 60s, 70s, early 80s, it happened constantly with 2 or 3 different titles, or sometimes even more, with many different horror films back in the day.
Okay, you said 1 million.
You said.
Hey, let me talk.
Okay, go right ahead.
I was nice enough to let you talk.
All right, go ahead.
You said 1 million titles, 1 million movies.
1 million.
I asked for examples. You produced one.
Yes.
Yeah.
We gave you hour and a half,
2 hours.
2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Most of which you weren't talking. You could be on your little Google box.
Yep, and I was.
And look up movies.
And I was.
And you came up with 2 titles that didn't support
Yes, they
your
did.
claim.
Yeah, no, they're not supporting my claim because you don't want them to support my claim.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
If it's one thing you, guys collectively cannot stand, it's being wrong.
Does anyone in this room think
It's not true.
Well, of course they're going to agree with you, you yuts.
Why are they going to agree with me? Why do they automatically
Because they'd
agree
rather
with me?
agree with you than agree with me.
We're both assholes. It doesn't matter which
It
one
does
of us.
matter. It does
I
matter.
got you back,
Trust
baby.
me.
That's good.
Trust me, I've been around this group long enough to know that it matters. Trust me.
Oh my God. Okay.
Who's next?
Well,
John?
here's one actually. I got one.
Let's hear
I'm gonna fucking. I'm gonna trump you, not in the way you trump me. The 13th Warrior was originally called Eaters of the Dead.
What's it called?
The
13th Warrior
was originally called
Eaters of the Dead.
But did it
Eaters
come out
of
and
the
do
Dead?
poorly?
I actually but it was released. The trailer came out and I think people were like, "What is Eaters of the Dead? What is that?" Because I actually have the 35 millimeter trailer of Eaters of the Dead. They pulled it, renamed it. I don't know if that's why, but the trailers had a very poor reaction.
Well, couldn't they
So they
do this-
repackaged it and renamed it.
Well, then couldn't the same be said about Return of the Jedi with Revenge of the Jedi?
Well, I don't know about
No,
that.
because that was
it. I don't think it was ever released to the
they
public.
only made a poster and then the decision was made.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about performance. It was Lucas's story was that Jedis wouldn't seek revenge.
Yeah.
So it was more of a.
But there was never a trailer for Revenge of the Jedi, just
No,
a poster.
There, yeah, there was a poster.
Okay.
Supposedly, Scream's original name was Scary Movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know that's. I don't know why they changed it, but I'm not getting the reasons. I looked up high-profile movies that changed their names.
I think
I'm seeing a bunch here.
I think that the premise of the bit would be a movie that actually was a title that was shown, whether in a trailer or in audiences, that were changed because of it had to be.
There's
released.
probably not a lot of movies that were released and then had their title changed. One.
I have it on
we
good authority.
reviewed.
There's millions.
One that we reviewed
Black
was
Coat's Daughter.
Black Coat's Daughter.
Oh right, and it was also.
It was originally February when we saw it.
Actually, I think it was
And then it
Black
got
Coat's
changed.
Daughter.
Right.
Then it was February, and it somehow got released as Black Coat's Daughter again because we watched it as
No,
February.
we saw it as February, but it was never Black Coat's
Right,
Daughter before
right.
that.
Like-
When it got bought, it was changed to Black Coat's Daughter.
Like Halloween was originally the Babysitter Murders.
Really?
Yeah.
Blade Runner was originally supposed to be Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which was the name
But that
of
was
the
the
book.
book. That was
right.
the Andy Dick, not Andy Dick novel.
Andy Dick. That'd be interesting. Philip K. Dick.
Philip K. Dick, a different Dick.
But so for fans of the movie, that was probably fans of the book, that probably would have been a good way to name it. However, I bet that didn't do well in focus groups. People were probably like, "What the fuck does this mean?" You know.
Yeah, it's not a sexy title.
So,
like,
oh, and the Unforgiven was originally the Cut Whore Killings.
You're shitting me, really?
That's what this article
That's
says.
a fucking movie.
I like that title.
It says, for one thing, the original title totally gives away the ending of the movie about a ladies' man. Come on now.
Oh, there is another movie I just thought of.
Saturday Night Fever was called The Tribal Rights of the Saturday Night.
Huh.
I see that somehow I knew that.
Freaked. Wait. Freaked. The movie Freaked with Randy Quaid.
Yeah.
Was originally and Alex Winter.
Alex Winter, yeah.
That's Freaks.
No, it's Freaked.
You sure?
It's
Freaked.
Freaked. Yeah,
Freaks.
Freaked.
It's Freaked.
Hey,
Freaks.
man,
It was
gotta be the
originally
Freak of the Week. Wow.
It was originally entitled Hideous Mutant Freaks.
Okay.
But did they change it because it performed badly?
Well, I think it was going to perform badly no matter what.
Yeah, it did. It did. Regardless.
Your thesis is just off the fucking rails.
Did you know this one, Mars?
What?
Predator was originally known as Hunter.
No.
That's
I did know
apparently.
that.
A sexual hunter.
I don't
like-
think that
I like
Hunter is as good of a name.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial
Triple H.
was originally known as A Boy's Life.
A Boy's Life with Aliens.
That's a stupid title for that movie. Is
They
that
should have
argument?
called it High Times for Kids.
Carlito says Ticks was released in theaters as Infested.
Oh, it probably performed very badly, and they changed it. Carlito.
And Donnie Davis says, I thought Ticks was direct-to-video.
One step
I
closer.
thought it was too. Well, Amy Dolan's didn't help.
One step closer to 1 million.
All right, we have one more voicemail.
I hate that movie. It scares me.
So if you guys have if anyone out there has stories about films that had their title changed because they performed poorly, because specifically for that reason, I'd like to hear about it.
We got
and,
a
you
lot
can
of
help
fucking brackets.
because there's
fill.
a million out there. So
Yeah.
you guys have a lot to choose from. So if that's true, let us know. I'd love for MZ to get some backup on this.
Maybe we could check the news.
Yeah.
All right, we got one from our boy Arkham Josh.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio guys,
buddy.
it's Arkham Josh here, calling in about this week's film. You guys are covering Happy Death Day. I didn't get a chance to rewatch it, but I did catch this back when it was in theaters, and I actually thought it was a lot of fun, quite enjoyable, and definitely worth checking out. It's a fun concept that I think was well written, well executed, and well acted, especially since you have a lead character who has to go from unlikable to, from you not liking her to then you rooting for her in the end and, being a heroic character. So I thought overall it was very well pulled off, and so I'm going to say it is a treat and a recommend. So I'll keep it short. Haven't gotten to catch up on any of the other things yet, but I'm still got a few that I kind of made a mental note of wanting to see. But so I'll get to those soon. All right. Hope you guys are doing well. Have a good one. Bye.
All right, Josh. Thanks, man. Glad you dug it. Seems to be most people are digging this movie, which is cool. So, all right. Well, I think that's going to do it. We're going to start to wind things down here. So. We'll have everyone say goodbye, and then if you want to, talk about a favorite comic book. It doesn't have to be your all-time favorite, just one that comes to mind. So we'll kick things off with MZ.
All right. I'll say my favorite comic book, like I have one. Well, I remember reading Battle Pope back in the day.
You read Battle Pope?
I don't know what happened to that, but it might still be around. I sincerely doubt it.
That guy has another little book called The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, that guy went on to do some pretty big things.
So he's done with Battle Pope then. I think he's spending most of his time on The Walking Dead.
It's pretty funny. It was actually the whole team. It was Tony Moore actually did the art too. So
oh, no shit.
It was the original team for Walking Dead. Look at that, MZ. You're a trendsetter.
Yeah, and Sidekick Jesus.
Yeah.
Maybe say that. That could be a new AMC show.
Yeah, do you have it? Maybe it would be worth some money.
No.
Oh, you don't have it still?
No, I don't think I do.
Robert Kirkman, writer, and artist Tony Moore, yeah.
Huh. No kidding. Wow. Okay, well, that's it for me. So, arrivederci, douchebags.
All right.
And God bless the United States.
Oh, God. One thing I didn't play. I wanted to play this earlier. This is, I wanted to play it for the movie. From, it's Birthday Death Day from Death Clock.
Oh, I miss these guys.
So maybe they should have called it Birthday Death Day. Would you have been okay with that, MZ?
I don't.
Coralito says Chopping Mall was Killbots.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Good call.
Did they change it because it performed poorly?
I don't think anyone knows those.
I'm really fucking jacked up to fill up this list, and I have like 9,000.
You have 900,000
like, in 99 spots to fill.
999,999 spots left.
That's a lot.
All right, Aries, do you have a comic you want to talk about?
I'm always fond of the original Sin City title.
Yes.
I think a couple of years ago they gave it an actual title. I don't recall.
Oh, The Hard Goodbye.
Hard Goodbye.
Yeah.
But to me, it'll always just be Sin City.
Right, much like Star Wars, in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right.
Marv, very likable, relatable character. So it's just, it's just a great story.
Did you ever see the collection I have of that?
A collection of.
It's called Big Fat Sin City. It's every Sin City thing. and it's the size of like an NT. It's like the size of that pizza box. But
Oh, I didn't know you had that.
The
I've
mail
seen
people
that.
wouldn't deliver it. I had to pick it up at the post office.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'll never read it because my back can't take it. But.
And goodbye.
All right, Raven Shadow. It's
Uh,
gonna be hard for you to pick a comic, a single comic.
like a single issue or a single
Savage
title?
Dragon 250.
No, title.
There's a whole lot of shit there, but really, end of the day, once again, there's just certain things that come around again and again and again. Big Trouble in Little China, Jack Knight, Starman, but of course, it's Preacher Man, Garth Ennis and Dylan, dude.
Preacher man, preacher.
Yeah, Preacher is my favorite thing ever.
Favorite thing ever.
Yeah.
More than Big Trouble in Little China. If you had to pick.
Yeah, that's rough. But yeah. And I have loved ones, okay?
Preacher checks.
And I have
Preacher
loved
man's
ones.
check is in the mail.
Yes.
All right. Goodbye.
Oh, live fast, love hard, die with your mask on.
All right, Mars Man.
I'm going to go with what my probably second favorite thing is, if Justice League International is my favorite, and it's also by Garth Ennis. And I feel it's extremely underrated, and that is his series, Hitman. Tommy Monahan is probably the most simple yet greatest character. It's a mixture of Sam Raimi aesthetic with John Woo gunplay, with some fucking clueless superheroes thrown in. I love it.
All right, say your thing.
My favorite thing ever is when he auditioned for the Justice League and got thrown out because he said he didn't get thrown. He got thrown out because he said he's a professional hitman. He kills people for money, and then they were stunned and they go, "Don't feel bad about not voting me in. I'm just here to look at Wonder Woman with my X-ray vision."
Yes.
And as he was going outside, he ran into Aztec and he said, "Don't mention money. They hate it." Remember, children, wherever you go, there they are.
There they are.
Yeah, fucking 1 million of them.
Million of them.
They're everywhere.
He like that whole trumping thing.
Yeah.
Trumping it is instead of billions, he says millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions.
Listeners, Trick or Treat Radio heads, Deadite Secret Twilight Society, you need to get these films for me because I have my Excel spreadsheet all fucking warmed up. I'm going to manually enter in all, no cut and pasting. I'm going to manually enter in all 1 million movies.
Creepy Girl comes to your defense. I see. She says, to be fair, 1 million is a figure of speech meaning a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he didn't give a lot. He gave one.
And he
And
had
was more than you guys could ever.
And he had many opportunities to say it was a figure of speech and didn't.
He had a million opportunities.
Oh, come on.
Oh, Carlos says, I believe that's the reason Killbots was changed to Chopping Mall. So, we might have a second
Is that
one.
2 or 3?
We have a second one. All right, for me, since I already mentioned Starman, Jack Knight Starman, I'm not going to mention it again. That would be my choice. But one of my runners-ups is a comic written by Warren Ellis, drawn by Derek Robertson.
Also, usually on most of my list, but I agree with you.
And it is The Adventures of Spider Jerusalem in Transmetropolitan. This is a comic book that I have actually been meaning to go back to because I think this would be extra relevant.
It's fucking relevant like a
now,
motherfucker. Yeah.
Especially during the election. You know, like maybe a year ago I should have reread this, but I think it's going to be super relevant, and I haven't read it in a while, so I forget a lot of the details. But Transmetropolitan and the character of Spider Jerusalem is so fucking amazing. Warren Ellis has done a lot of great stuff, but for me, that might be one of the best things he's done. So I would definitely recommend checking out Transmetropolitan if you have never done it. There's definitely collections available, and it is fucking great.
I dove back into a couple of trades last November.
What would you call it? Like sci-fi political adventure? Like I don't even know how to fucking describe it. It's fucking crazy.
It's science fiction, political
science fiction.
Political. It's like a fucking Judge Dredd version of Bloom County.
All right, there you go.
Hunter S. Thompson and
yeah, definitely some Hunter S. Thompson for sure. So. All right, well, everyone in the chat room, people are saying goodnight to us. Thank you guys for hanging out. Carlos says goodnight. Creepy Girl says a million reasons. Name them. All right, well, that is going to do it So next week, I'm not sure. Once again, I'm not sure if we're going to be doing Wednesday Night Wars. We'll try to update you guys throughout the week. We're still trying to wait from Outside the Cinema to see what's going on with those guys and see if we're going to do it. If not, hopefully we'll probably do a WrestleMania one. I mean, we got to do that's the granddaddy of them all. So if we don't do it, we'll let you guys know what film we're going to review next week. And I actually have been booking some guests for February. So February should be pretty interesting. We have someone who's going to be promoting a new album.
Nice.
Someone who's going to be promoting a new book.
Whoa.
So we got some cool stuff coming up. So a million reasons to tune in the rest of the year.
Figuratively speaking.
The month of a million guests.
Yes. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in live. Thank you, everyone, for sending us feedback, and for everyone who's going to listen to the podcast on Friday. You guys are awesome. Thank you. We'll see you next week.